Good evening, people. How are you? It's Middle-Aged Gamer Guy here. Back for our 59th show. Can you believe it? Yes, we are here. It's another TNGC Tuesday night gaming chat with all your latest game news, reviews, and all the other bump that comes with it. Hello to a couple of people that are here, early birds in the chat. Hello, Diva. Good evening. Big Jesse, hello. How are you? Tony, hello. Hello to you all. Welcome for tuning in so bright and early with us. Big Jesse says, I was recording with Mr. Newton today. We realised why we like this show for us oldies. It's like guessing the score on old radio football results. Leighton Orient 1, Newcastle United 1, and nil score draw. So here we are. Right, and with me, who's been with me for probably about 98% of these shows. Please welcome the co-host that knows the most. It's Mr. Davy Jones.
Good evening, sir. How you doing?
I am very good. How are you?
I'm doing all right, thank you, mate.
Now, we actually met up for the first time in ages on Saturday, didn't we?
We did. I saw you in the flesh. Made a change.
It was good to see you. And
yeah, I'm just used to this flat 2D version of you. I saw you in full 3D.
It was probably more horrific than you probably thought it would be.
Definitely was, yeah. It's worse than I thought.
So we'll put it off for another 6 months again before we meet in person. Big Jesse said, you saw Mag in whose flesh? In my own flesh, Jesse, just to confirm. I wasn't like Hannibal Lecter and wearing someone else's face. Mia says, oh my God, 59 shows already. Wow, yes, 59 shows. Pixie, good evening. How are you? Good to see you. 59 shows. It's crazy. I can't believe we've done that many. Can't believe we've done that many.
Time flies by, don't it? Can't believe it's 59 already.
I know. It's crazy. And just to think, all those wonderful things we've talked about, such as Halo, Cyberpunk, Stadia, all the big pressing things, there you go. Every single show was absolute gold. Oh, bless you, Jesse. Amir says, Dave, how have you put up with him for this long?
Oh, I'm just a glutton for punishment.
It's true, he is. Wait until you reach 100 shows, Pixie. Oh, my God. Well, we know for one thing, we do, for those who know, tuned in for the last 2 weeks, we've started this 100 games before you die, and we've done 2 so far. There's 98 more shows where we got involved with that, so that's going to take us well past us. Mia says, I have 70k, Mag. Watch out over the next week. She's got 70k mojo bites. Can you believe this? To spend.
Cool.
And this is the only show that she can't actually spend them on, really, because we don't redeem the channel points. You can earn the channel points, you just can't get them. But there you go. Anyway, should we bring our guest in?
Go for it, mate. I think we should.
I was going to ask you what you've been playing, but we talked about this on Saturday, so I think we've got a lot to talk about. So I'm going to just swiftly
let's move along.
Let's move along. So, obviously, had you seen last week? Originally, we announced that Ginger Dad was supposed to be here with us. Unfortunately, he couldn't make it. His family are not very well. Ginger Dad, you're probably not watching this because you're looking after your family, but wish all you and your family very well. Hope you all get well soon and take care. And hopefully we'll get you back on the show in a couple of months' time. Standing in for us is another co-host who knows the most. Welcome from our movie show, Zenkai Mag Go to the Movies. It is the one, the only, Zenkaipool.
Wait a minute, this isn't the film show. What am I doing here? What is this strange place?
This week we're going to talk about Jackass. No, we're not. That's soon. That's soon. down. No, thank you so much for standing in, Zenkai. I really appreciate it, mate.
I was doing nothing tonight anyway.
That's cool. Well, yeah, that makes me feel even better.
Better to do.
Got fuck all else to do, so might as well turn up on the show.
Yep.
If you're not following this gorgeous man, it's weird having 2 co-hosts on the same show. It's weird because both of them know more things than me, so I'm completely like they're carrying me for this whole show tonight. Please go give him a follow; it's greatly appreciated. What are people saying in chat? Send in Ginger Dad all the love. Yes, please do. Showception, the crossover nobody saw coming. It's true. This is the movie. Christ, Mag, cross the streams. Nice Ghostbusters reference. But there you go. There you go. There you go. You got a shout as well. Zenkai was last playing Five Nights at Freddy's Security Breach. So, apart from that, what else have you been playing recently, Zenkai?
The thing I've been playing recently, according to my PlayStation, was I've been playing a lot of Fall Guys. I've been playing a lot of Hitman, and last week I tried to play Sea of Thieves on my piece of shit laptop. But to say, the frames were not very good.
Okay.
I played a lot of GTA. Played some Far Cry. Just chilling back. Playing some games while I work on something big in my channel, but yeah,
you're working. I'm not going to say what that is. I kind of know some things, but not everything.
Yeah.
But you've been working on some big projects recently, haven't you? So it should be good. So stay tuned to Zenkai's thing. There you go. Mia says hi, Dave. Hi, Zenkai. It's the crossover nobody thought they wanted, but we got it anyway. That's the kind of quality we bring to you every night at 9 p.m. So there we go. Well, let's crack on. We've got quite a big show. It's actually starting to pick up now in terms of games and content. So we've got 15 games to talk about tonight, 2 of which are DLCs. We've got a ton of news, and we've got to try and cover not only our 100 games to play before you die, but also a little bit about the Nintendo Direct conference. Yeah, Mia says there's actually loads of games. Yay! Are they good? Are they bad? Will we agree with the reviewers? Let's see. Let's crack on with the show tonight. We have got such games coming up for you, such as Horizon Forbidden West, King of Fighters 15, and Total War Warhammer 3, amongst a few others to mention. So let's do this. Mia says, I just want more Vampire Lady. Well, we shall see when we talk about Capcom. We will have a guest to see. Is it going to be Resident Evil stuff that they're going to announce in a few days' time, or is it going to be something else? We'll hold that out to discussion, but that will be a bit later on. Let's crack on with our first couple of games. This game came out Thursday last week. This is out on all the Xboxes, all the PlayStations, and PC. This is Edge of Eternity. You can get this free on Game Pass as of last week as well. So let's check out the trailer and see what we think to this game. Here we go.
30 years ago, strange metal airships appeared in our skies.
Stay close, remember your training, and we'll make it out!
Soon a rain of fire will fall on these lands. I want you to remember, this is all your fault.
I've been waiting for you.
Look out, he's corroded!
Who rides the pale horse now?
Of course you're not ready for this!
Take this! Let's go!
We will put an end to these senseless sacrifices. The hell with this ritual! We have a situation here! You!
Do you believe you actually stand a chance against me?
You will pay for what you did!
This time, I can do something. This time, I can save everyone.
There you go, Edge of Eternity. Yes, another turn-based combat game that we seem to be drowning in of last year, but we're getting spared at least only one a week. Pixie says, this actually looks pretty. Big Jesse says, as far as these games go, this one has some pretty amazing visuals. It does look rather cool, but is it any good? Dave, I'm going to start with you. Edge of Eternity. Give us a little bit of backstory on this one, my friend.
As you say, it's another JRPG. This one's from, I think it's a small French studio that have done this one. So it's not from like Japanese developers, but this studio is made up of people who love JRPGs. So they call themselves Midgar Studio, which is a call out to the city from Final Fantasy VII.
Nice.
So they've just tried to emulate some of their favourite JRPGs. Graphics-wise, this one looks quite nice. I think because it's like a small studio who haven't quite got the time and the budget of the big AAAs, some of the systems that are in there, whilst they're generally meant to be quite good, aren't as good as what you get in like these big budget games where they can just throw oodles and oodles of money at it and tons of developers to really build these things up and make them fantastic. So it's not going to hit some of the highs that you get from other games, but it looks like a pretty decent attempt that they've done.
Yeah. Okay. I mean, as you say, it could be really good or being independent because they are big fans of JRPGs. This could be like really good fan service, as it were, but we'll find out shortly. Zenkai, are you a fan of a JRPG, turn-based combat game?
To be honest, JRPGs don't really do it for me. I like the ideas of JRPGs, but what happens in it gameplay-wise, it just doesn't work for me sometimes. Like, there's a few RPGs that I do really like say, South Park. That game that came out a few years ago. But that's really it. That's the only JRPG that I know that I really like. The others, they look like they're good, but the gameplay I just don't like.
Okay. Is it a case of what is it that you're not? Is it like the way that they are? Is it more about?
It's kind of like with that game you just showed us now. It's like turn-based. Like, the things that are turn-based is that if it's like me, you, it's just not really that fun and repetitive for me.
I'm the same. I don't like the turn-based systems that much at all. I like South Park, which is one of the only turn-based systems I like. It's the same as you. Enjoyed that one, but normally I wouldn't bother with them.
Yeah, it's just something that's not really piqued my interest.
Okay. All right, folks. Let us know what you thought this got out of scores. For anyone who's not watched the show before, I scour the internet for all different reviews for the games and take an average score out of 10. So let us know what you think. Pixie is saying, I personally like turn-based combat, but that's just me because I do need a moment to process the action and strategize. I think for certain games it works, but then some games it doesn't. And there's a difference between turn-based RPGs and other RPGs where it's just combat. But again, depends what kind of game you're into. Dave, what do you reckon this got out of 10?
I'm going to go for a 7.
Going for a 7. Okay. Chat, let us know your scores, please. We'd greatly appreciate it. Zenkai, what do you reckon this got?
By my intellectual processing, I'm going to say it got about a 6.5.
6.5. Okie dokie. Pixie saying, I either need to overplan or button mash. There is no in between. Big Jesse says, Top Hotspur 4, this JRPG, 7.5. Well, the answer is, obviously didn't cut the mustard, even though they are fans. It got 5 out of 10.
Cool.
So quite average, unfortunately.
Want to skip then by the sound of it?
Yeah, one to skip. Again, it's on Game Pass. It's free. If you want to give it a whirl, if you're a fan of JRPGs and turn-based, it's there for you to play. But otherwise, it's not up there with some of the other ones that we've seen over the course of these shows. So that, folks, is Edge of Eternity out on all the PlayStations, all the Xboxes and PC. Came out last Thursday. Fortunately, gets a 5 out of 10. Now, a big game coming out this Friday, especially for PlayStation fans. They've been waiting a long, long time for this. This is a sequel. This is going to be the trailer for, and it's a big trailer. I'm warning you now, it's a long trailer. So if you're not into this, tough shit, because you got it for the next 3 minutes. This is out.
Popcorn.
Right. This is out on PlayStation 4 and 5. This is Horizon Forbidden West, and it's coming to you landing on this Friday. Let's have a look at the trailer. Here we go. Hello, Sophie.
I'm running out of time, Elizabeth. The land is dying. People are suffering. Soon, they'll starve. And the machines meant to help us are out of control. I have to find a way to fix it all. And the answer is somewhere out in the Forbidden West.
In the West, war is the rule. Peace, the exception. The rebel leader, Regala, seeks to slaughter all those who've wronged her. She will kill anyone who gets in her way. They say she answers to a higher power. He's supplied her with troops, weapons, even the ability to control machines. Machines of war.
Whatever secrets he has, he's keeping to himself. And the solution I need is broken and scattered. Everywhere I look, things are falling apart. I don't know if I can find a way forward. Like Elizabeth did.
All by yourself? Ha! No way.
I'll be careful and...
We're coming with you.
We will find the answers. But beware. We're not the only ones who seek them.
There you go, folks. That's the first big PlayStation game of this year exclusive. Before we start talking about that, DJ Fail, thank you so much for the raid. Really appreciate it. Really, really do appreciate it. Thank you for bringing your community over to ours. Welcome to everyone. And thank you for the follow last night. Thank you so much. For those who've just joined us, welcome to Tuesday Night Gaming Chat, where we talk about all the latest games, news, and reviews. And we're moving straight on to Horizon Forbidden West, which comes out this Friday. Zenkai, as a big PlayStation fan, are you hyped for this game?
Kind of. I played the first Horizon. Well, I didn't complete it, but I played it for about 8 hours.
Okay.
And I thought it was a good game. You know, I thought it was a good game. I could see where they were going with the story, but one thing I didn't like. There was some things I didn't like about the game, and one of them was that you couldn't control the big monsters. You know, like the big mechanical robots. You couldn't control them, and that kind of turned me off a little bit. Because you know, you could have like that cool moment of you just causing rampage and those giant robots, but no. But I was a bit saddened. I haven't played it in a while, but it is, from what I heard, it looks pretty good. From the second one, it looks better considering the new location is set in covered up San Diego. So the location looks fun. The new enemy types look fun. I might give it a try, but I'm gonna have to play the first one through it until I get used to the lore before I play the second one.
Dave, I know you're really looking forward to this, aren't you?
Yeah, I am, because I really enjoyed the first one. So it didn't bother me too much that you couldn't get on some of the bigger dinosaurs, because I just thought the sort of world that they built and the combat that they put in there against the creatures was just really good. It took me a while to get into it initially. It was a bit of a sort of slow start, if I recall, the game before the story really got going. So you did have to sort of persevere with it a bit, and then it did get really good. And it was a story that pulled me all the way through the game. So I just wanted to find out what happened next. So I'm hoping that in the new one the story is just as good, but they've got like quite a feat to top it because they did such a good job first time round.
Yeah.
So I'm hoping it will still be a good story. But even if it's not quite as good, it looks like they've basically just iterated upon everything that was good of the first game. They've improved the combat even more, done more to the world. They've especially improved the traversal, because you were a bit limited to what you could climb in the game. It came out at the same time as Breath of the Wild, where you could climb up anything, and that sort of really put it to there's a bit of a poor light in a way, that side of it. But even though it's still not quite Breath of the Wild standards in the new one, apparently they've improved it a lot. So you can climb up a lot more things, go explore around the mountains if you want. Then you get to jump off them and glide down. So they sort of pick that bit up from Breath of the Wild. It's just quite fun gliding across these beautiful landscapes. That should be pretty cool. Another thing that I was reading about it that was pretty good is it sounds like a lot of the side quests are quite meaningful and fit into the story quite well. Yeah. Because unfortunately, a lot of other open world games, you just get those side quests that are kind of pointless, or they're copy and pasted so many times. Like, oh, you enjoyed it once, go and do it 10, 20, 30 more times. Oh, and you like that one as well, do the same. But it sounds like they've got a good bit of variety. They mix it into the story. It also does it so that it doesn't sort of pull you away from a storyline that's, it's you feel that the main story's got to be done.
Yeah,
because there's such high stakes, but then you can go off and do something completely different and get pulled off to a side story, and it sort of drags it all to a complete halt. It doesn't quite sound that way with this one. It sounds like the side quests do still fit in with that overarching story, which is cool. But yeah, I'm looking forward to it. One thing that's worth noting for anyone who is looking to buy it, you can get it. You don't have to buy the PS5 version. You can buy the PS4 version, which is £10 cheaper, and it includes a free upgrade to the PS5 version. So for anyone who hasn't done that yet, do bear that in mind. You can just buy the PS4 version, save yourself a couple of quid.
Life hacks right there, Dave. There you go. He's just saved you everyone a tenner. There you go. Everyone who wants to buy it. Hello, Prince. How you doing? Good to see you. Yes, we are talking about the new Horizon Forbidden West game. So let's talk about some of the things that they haven't done well with this game, which has come up in a lot of reviews. They have felt that some of the enemies in the combat can be a bit too overwhelming, especially to the monsters, and all you can do is dodge roll, which sometimes feels like you're constantly trying to move back to get away from that. And they've said that it can get a bit annoying. They've said that they've still not done the thing where you can, considering there's such an array of traps, weapons and things, you cannot quickly assign items. And it's very frustrating if you are trying to do something quickly in combat. You have to go for this long-winded ass system to do it. Now, they said once you get used to it, it's great. But if you're not used to it, you probably find it very frustrating. And something you did say about the traversal, there are still areas that you just literally cannot climb. They look like they're climbable.
Still not perfect.
Still not perfect.
Better, but not perfect.
Better, but not perfect. So based on all that information, what do we rate the average scores for Horizon Forbidden West were? Dave, I'll start with you, and then I'll start putting some scores up in the chat.
I reckon it might average about an 8.5. So there's still those few problems with it. So I think a few places will have marched down a little bit.
Now, bearing in mind this don't come out to Friday, so playing it, I think there was only a few people that meant that it hard crashed back to the homepage, like once. During like 24, 48 hours of play. So I think that was the only kind of bug we came across. Prince is saying a 9.5. Sophie is 8. Prince says, I did exactly that. I cancelled my copy on 5 to get the 4 version. And I'm now replaying Zero Dawn ready for Friday. Big Jesse says a 7.5. Sophie's changed her mind, 8.5. Prince has come down a bit, 9. Everyone's changing the scores. Anyone else who wants to have a guess, score, put it in the chat. Guess your scores, what? Horizon Forbidden West. Zenkai, what do you reckon this got?
I have seen a couple of reviews on this game, and I know they've gone around high scores, so I'm going to bet it got an average 8.
Okay, an average 8. Prince says, about a week ago, though, the 4 went on offer. So I've got it for about half the price of the 5, say 39 quid. Again, life hacks. Awesome. I can tell you that this got an average of 8.5 out of 10. So there you go. 8.5 out of 10. So that's a good score. There were some as high as 9 and some as low as 8. I haven't seen anything lower than that range anywhere. So there you go. Sophie's like, fuck yes. It counts as 2 different games. I guess it does. Pixie says, Game of Life Hacks. Josh, who was our guest on the show last week. Hello. Good evening, sir. Hope you're well. Hope you had a fantastic birthday as well. No more scores from me tonight. That's it. I quit. She got 1 right and she's quit. Come on, Soph. You want to get a winning streak? That's what you want to do. Sophie, what the hell? That's not how you play this. But there you go, folks. Horizon Forbidden West out on PlayStation 4 and 5 this Friday gets an average of 8.5 out of 10. Now, moving on to a little bit of gaming news before our next couple of games. So, everyone remembers what a car wreck the launch of GTA Definitive Edition was. It came out and it was so buggy. It was unbelievable. It made some very funny viewing, especially when we've watched trailers and videos on this channel before. However, they are announcing that despite refunds and a lot of bug fixes, they will be bringing out a mobile version of the game to coincide with the next-gen version of GTA 5 coming to PS5 and Xbox Series S and X. But do you know how many copies this has sold, even though it absolutely tanked on release? How many copies do you think that GTA Definitive Edition has actually managed to sell? So buggy. It was more than 1 bug, trust me. Sophie's going in with 5.1 million.
I was thinking about 5 million as well.
You reckon it shifted 5 million?
I'm going to bet about 6 million.
6 million. Okay. Anybody else in chat want to have a guess that this absolute car wreck of a game, how many million copies it shifted? Big Jesse says there's probably about 3 million people streaming GTA. So I reckon it shifted 4 million. Okay. It shifted 10 million copies. It sold 10 million copies, and it's actually sold better over Christmas after they started to patch it. Believe it or not. I know. I couldn't believe it as well. Sophie's like, no way. GTA fans, get your shit together, yeah.
It's just the brand name selling it, isn't it? People are seeing it and graphics is GTA.
Yeah, it's nuts. I can't believe that it's done that. But yeah, 10 million copies, and they are sitting there going, ha, 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 at everybody who went and bought it. So yeah, I couldn't believe that. Now, talking of other things, another game that didn't do so well, which is not selling anywhere near as many copies, in fact, it's probably going to do worse than this, a lot worse, is Battlefield 2042. As we know, it got delayed from October to November. It then came out and released, and it got absolutely slated by players and press. Now, the only place that you could get refunds on this game at the time was on Steam for PC. But ironically, as we said and reported on this show, they literally still had a really good weekend of sales that weekend on Steam, making it like the highest Steam game for that month or whatever. However, console people are still not happy because they think that this is the worst Battlefield game that's come out. They feel that it isn't finished. It's not quite right in places. And therefore have made a petition because they think that Battlefield 2042 is a mockery, in their own words, of the Battlefield series and want to be able to get refunds on the PlayStation and Xbox versions. But my question to you, gents, this is almost turning into a quiz. Answer to that is, how many people, roughly to the nearest 1,000, have signed this petition so far?
I think it was about 40,000.
Dave's going for 40,000. Okay. Prince is going 116,000. Okay. Zenkai?
Let's say about 250,000.
250,000. Okay. Anyone else in chat want to have a guess? Pixie's going for 200,000. So how many thousand? But bearing in mind, this is not for PC players because PC can quite happily get a refund, but Xbox, PlayStation can't. So how many people across those two platforms do you reckon said in a petition? I'm going to give you one more. Sophie says 65,000. Sophie, you might be on a winning streak tonight because you are the closest. 60,000 people. Only 60,000. I know 60,000 is a lot, but you take into consideration, that's not a lot. But they put a petition together. Now, whether that grows, because obviously this petition is launched, we shall have to see. But Battlefield 2042 is not doing well, and we can see why. Something else I'm going to talk about quickly. I'm going to unram a couple of stories together here because I feel it's appropriate. Last week, we announced on this channel that obviously with Microsoft is still in the acquisition process of Blizzard Activision. Oh, hello. Circus Digi, thank you so much. Has done a gifted tier 1 sub to Pixie Star. There you go. Can we get a shout out for Circus Digi, please? And congratulations, Pixie. You now have a sub. So let's get some sub hype in the chat, please. Shani, hello. How are you doing? Good to see you. So there you go. Thank you very much, Circus Digi. Hope you're well. We found out last week that they've said they would honour any contracts for any Call of Duty games that were due to come out on PlayStation. So we know there are 3 more games of Call of Duty in the space of the next 2 years. Now, we haven't got the names for them, but we know they're Call of Duty 2022. We know there is Call of Duty Warzone 2, or whatever they're going to call that. And there is Call of Duty 2023. And they will honour that. And then everyone was quite like, what's going to happen? Because does that mean then Call of Duty is only going to be on PC and Microsoft? We have now got clarification this week, people, that for all you Call of Duty fans, they have announced, Microsoft have announced that going beyond those 3 releases, they will still release Call of Duty games for PlayStation moving forward. They have no intention of taking it away from PlayStation. So all you PlayStation Call of Duty fans can breathe a sigh of relief. What we will know that's going to happen is you may be at a disadvantage to the Xbox community because they will get those brand new games free of charge on day one as part of Game Pass. So that's the only downside. But if you don't give a shit about that and you're quite happy to pay whatever you pay for Call of Duty and you're happy with that, then you don't have to worry. You don't have to buy a brand new console just to play Call of Duty. So everyone can relax and the world is a better place. We'll see. What is interesting, Microsoft have turned around and said, well, seeing as we're being the nice guys that we are, and we want Call of Duty to stay on PlayStation and be on PC, what about if we offer it to Nintendo? They are seriously having chats to try and basically move Call of Duty onto Nintendo Switch. I'm going to ask Dave and Zenkai their thoughts on this because I think this is an odd one. I don't know. I mean, you've got Call of Duty Mobile, right? Which obviously works. It's a very different game, but it's Call of Duty on a mobile phone. Do we think it's going to be a very different version, a bit like how we got Apex on Nintendo Switch? Or do you think they're going to be able to somehow port that and make it work on a Switch? I'll start with Dave.
It's entirely possible they could port it. You'd have quite a few graphical cutbacks to get it working. Because if you remember, they've done ports of Doom and the Wolfensteins onto the Switch. And those are games you wouldn't think would be able to run on there at all, but they can. Yeah, they got the disadvantage. I think they're stuck to like 30 FPS, and so the graphics have been downgraded quite a bit to get them running. So it's possible.
They did it with Doom and Doom Eternal as well, didn't they? And
they
quite again, frame rate was dropped, but apparently it plays brilliantly. I mean, Zenkai, you don't play Call of Duty much, do you, or at all?
I do play Call of Duty, but not as much as the average guy. I just think Call of Duty is okay. Putting it on to Nintendo is quite odd considering the last Call of Duty game that I know of was on the Nintendo console was Call of Duty Black Ops 2 on the Wii freaking U.
Blimey, yeah, okay.
That was
Yeah, I
that was
remember
a
that.
long time ago, and I didn't play it because I didn't give a shit about Call of Duty at the time. But I mean, if Nintendo can play the original Doom on it, if you can play Doom, it can play anything.
Yeah, it's a good fair. You know, Doom 2016 is a brilliant game, and I love it. That's probably still in my top 10 games of all time. If you can play that, it can run anything, and I think that's so true. So we shall see. Will Nintendo go, all right then, go on, we'll have it. We'll see. They have had other Bethesda. Well, it's not Bethesda, is it? It's Activision, but they have some of those Bethesda games that Microsoft now owns are on Nintendo Switch. So why couldn't Call of Duty be? We shall have to see. Right, our next couple of games. We're actually going to do 2 lots of DLCs that have come out. If it can dodge a ball, it can play COD. Nice. If it can dodge a spanner, it can play Battlefield. No, actually, it probably couldn't. We'll see. We'll see what happens. We're going to move on to 2 lots of DLCs and then 2 more games that are out this week. This came out Tuesday last week. This is a DLC for the game Crusaders King 3. This is the DLC Royal Court. This came out last Tuesday for PC. Let's have a look at the trailer for this and see what you lovely people think of this one. Here we go.
This very night, my beloved mother-in-law displayed her might. And now, here I stand before my new prince, daughter to a murdered king, surrounded yet alone in this foreign court. I shall learn these halls of power, for although my enemies have made this bed, I choose to lie in it. So one day, they may die in it. Real strategy requires cunning.
There you go. So that is the first major expansion for King's Court. That is called Royal. Crusaders King. I've got it the wrong way round. Crusaders King 3. It's called Royal Court DLC. So strategy game. This is very much a beloved franchise. A lot of people like this. I know Pixie Stars just said I've actually played a little bit of Crusaders King 2 since it's free on Steam. One day I definitely want to play the third one. Mr. Newton, good evening. Great to see you. Welcome. So good to see you. So yeah, strategy game, but this time all centered around the actual court of the castle. So you control all the different aspects of what could happen. And can you overthrow that evil woman who basically just got your husband murdered in there? Dave, I'll start with you on this one.
Yeah, it looks like an interesting mechanic to add to the series. A few things I was reading earlier say that it fits in really well that you couldn't go back to playing the game without it in there. So it sounds like a cool thing. I can't think of any other games that have had that in before that spring to mind. But it looks good that your subjects come in, you listen to the needs, decide what is going to happen. You're going to let them off. You're going to kill them. You're going to invite some diplomats in to try and stop a war from happening. Perhaps just solve it with diplomacy in the throne room. You can decorate the throne room as well to make it look more grand. It might impress visiting dignitaries who are coming in. Make them a bit more amenable to your requests. And the other thing that's quite cool with this one, it's done like an overhaul to the culture system that they use in the game. So when you're taking over like kingdoms and other countries, you can choose what happens with the culture that's currently living there. You can sort of completely override it, amalgamate it into your current one, and it will do other things that could end up splitting out into other subcultures and things like that going forward. So it does sound like a very cool set of systems that they're adding in to the base game to just improve that, evolve it even more.
Okay. Zenkai, your thoughts on this one?
I'm gonna be brutally honest. Based on that trailer, it looks like a video game ad, not like a mobile game ad. The graphics, the gameplay, it looks like a mobile game app you'd see while you're playing, I don't know, Clash of Clans. You suddenly get an ad and boom, it looks like something you'd see on there. It just looks like it's not my kind of thing, but there's obviously some people if it got a DLC.
Yeah. Okay. It's not everyone's cup of tea. I know the next DLC we're going to talk about is your cup of tea, and we'll come on to that in a minute. So what do we reckon Crusaders King 3 DLC Royal Court got? Hello, Miyaharu. How are you? Good to see you. Dave, I'll start with you. What do you reckon this got out of 10? And chat, get your scores in now for this DLC.
I'm going to go for an 8.
Okay, an 8. Zenkai.
I'm going to go for a 7.
I'm going for a 7. Wow. Big Jesse says a generous 5.5. Damn. Hey, love, I'm good. Great to see Miharu. Miharu's going for an 8 out of 10 for this one. So we've got some very average scores. We've got some high scores. Anybody else want to take a guess what Crusaders King 3 DLC Royal Court, which was out Tuesday last week while we were doing this very show, what this got on PC? I will give you 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Oh, I don't want to risk my streak to a shit game. Oh, wow. Okay. All right, then, Sophie, I'll let you off. Theoretically, if you were to get a score, and this will not count, what score would you give it? And this doesn't count. So if you get it right or get it wrong, does not count. 6.5. Okay. So I can tell you this got an 8.5 out of 10. This is just as good as Horizon Forbidden West. For people who love the Crusaders King games, they have said this DLC is superb. The options it offers, the way it plays, the way it integrates with the game. It is probably one of the best DLCs of this. Even though it's the first one in this series, one of the best ones in this type of genre of game. So that's speaking quite highly. So there you go, people. We don't know. We don't know how it's going to come out, but there you go. Our next DLC, I know Zenkai will enjoy this. This is the third of the paid DLCs for Far Cry 6. This also came out Tuesday last week while we were doing the show. This is out on PC, Xbox, PlayStation, and that thing we call a bag of shit, Stadia. This is the Joesph Collapse DLC. Here's the trailer, folks. Have a look at it. Let us know what you think. I'll be right back. Here we go.
Joesph, my child, wake up. Lord, where am I? Is this Eden? This is our promised land? You knew what was coming, and you saved the only person who mattered. You!
Everything you touch gets poisoned.
This is how I cleanse my sin. I will restore this place.
After all you've done, you think you still deserve Eden? You can't wash away these sins. The only way to make it right is to kill what I created.
Liar!
I won't let you poison anyone else!
Repenting means nothing when everyone you hurt is dead!
They're only doing what I taught them to do.
My flock, too far gone. Now you are a plague.
There's no coming back from this, Father.
There you go. So this is the third in the DLCs. Can we just watch Care Bears, please? No, is the answer to that one. This is the third one. Now, they've done a roguelike strategy with these last 3 DLCs. They've picked iconic villains from the last 3 games. And we finish with Far Cry 5's protagonist, Joesph Seed. The idea is that you will die, come back, get new skills, die again, get new skills, go further into the game. So, considering the last 2 were like this, is this going to be an improvement on the last couple that have gone from a fairly decent good start to a sort of average one. How is this going to balance out? I'm going to start with Zenkai on this one because I know you've played the other DLCs of this. Let's start with this. Are you looking forward to this one?
Yeah, I played this last Tuesday while you were streaming this, so that's where I was last week. I thought it was decent. It's a decent game. It's a decent DLC. Like considering it's how you say it's like rogue type. Every time you die, you have to reset, but you gain all the stuff you got from your previous life. I kind of like it. I like the idea, especially with the whole. But I feel like that got more interesting with the Voss side of it because it's like insanity and the definition of insanity, the whole repeating thing. But with the whole control thing, control theme and all that, I don't think it really does it that well. But it's still an interesting gameplay trope. Obviously the map is supposed to represent Montana.
Yeah.
If it's like in someone's mind. We still there's for the first time there's some mini bosses from the actual previous games. So you do see some of the Seed family.
Yeah.
Not just in the flashbacks. You also get someone unexpected during the game from the spin-off. So I thought that was quite interesting. Yeah, New Dawn.
Okay.
Someone from that game appeared in it, but I'm not gonna say who he was and how he's connected to him because if you didn't play it or if you don't care. But yeah, I thought it was good. I enjoyed it, but sometimes the enemies can be a bit of how do you say bullshit? Because these enemies are really fucking tough, and I played this last week on the first difficulty, and they fucking ran me over. Holy shit! Even because I haven't played it in a while since the last DLC, or even that, I fucking sucked. But I thought it was a great DLC. Also, you have the special secret ending if you complete the game on 5 stars.
Oh, I've heard about that. Yeah.
Yeah, there's 1 in 3, and from Voss, Pagan, and now with Joesph. Honestly, I won't tell because of spoilers, but yeah, I think it has great content. I think it like ties up their villains knot. You know how like tied everything up with the characters. I enjoyed the whole DLC run.
Okay. Dave, no, it's cool. It's cool because I know you're a fan of that game. Dave, your thoughts on this and what they've been doing with these DLCs?
Well, I just think they probably could have done something a bit different with the DLCs because as Zenkai was saying, that the roguelike repeating idea was probably good for the Voss one.
Yeah.
But then it's just like I'd say the next two just sound like a bit of a reskin because it's the same thing over again. You know, they're both roguelikes, both die, repeat. Improve your weapons as you're going along, to go and take on the enemies. It's just the same thing again and again. It's a bit of a shame they didn't try and do something different with the other 2 DLCs. Maybe look at a slightly different genre and mix that in instead of just doing the same thing 3 times over. It just seems a bit of a waste opportunity. They could have just, really done something different because a lot of times you get companies who do take risks with the DLC. That could be more interesting than the main game sometimes, but they haven't really done that here.
Especially with the last 2, especially with Pagan Min and Joesph Seed. If you find the really good weapon, you don't need anything else. There's no point of going for any other weapons. It seems kind of like a waste.
Yeah, you could just get that and then blaze through, I suppose, couldn't you? Which isn't really that much of the point of that genre. You're meant to just keep trying different weapons and doing different things. But I just think these DLCs have been a bit of a waste, really. They should have done a bit more with them. The only thing that does look kind of amusing to me in this third one is the way that he breaks people's necks by shoving a Bible in their mouth and then twisting it around. It's an interesting use for a Bible. Definitely, I like to see.
I think that the Bibles are just glad to get out because most of the time they're just stuck in motel and hotel drawers.
That's they're getting an air out
into someone's face and breaking someone's neck is probably a nice day out for them. To be honest. There you go. Note to self: Googling people finds old stuff. Okay. There you go. Care Bears. That's what she's looking up there. Anyway, so I can tell you what the critics started to say about this. So, yes, they felt that Vaz out of the three was the strongest one because the whole insanity loop thing works brilliantly. Pagan Min, as we know, because we reviewed it on the show, didn't fare as well. In fact, I'm just going to go back and have a look at my notes because it got... What did we give? What did we give it? Trying to find it, actually, now. I've said that. It got 6 out of 10, which ain't bad. It's good. Got 6 out of 10. I think the biggest problem I had with this is they said the tone of this one is very different because of that character from Far Cry 5. So whereas there are jokes and things in Vaz's and even with Pagan, Min, like, because he's so self-obsessed and stuff, this is so dry and to the wall. It almost feels very different. And I said it's almost, there's a problem with the fact that he's trying to atone for everything he's done. So they're trying to turn this bad character into a good character, yet he's gunning down hundreds of people and then going, sorry. And it doesn't sit well. As Zenko has pointed out, if you've not played Far Cry 5 and New Dawn, there are bits where you might be a bit like, I don't get it, I don't understand, because there's characters from both. Whereas the other ones, you only needed to know a little bit and you could get away with playing them. So the question is, as the third and final paid DLC, is this better or the same, better than Vaz, same as the last one, or is it worse? That's the question. What do we reckon? Chat, get your scores in out of 10. Zenkai, I'll start with you. Since you've played it, what do you reckon this got?
Since I've played them all, mine's kind of like Pagan Min, Joesph, and Voss at the top. So I can give this one about somewhere between 6.5 and 7.
Okay, so 6.5 or a 7. Dave, what say you?
I'm going to go for a 6 for this one.
You're going for a 6, so you're going to pretty much go at the same level as Pagan Min.
Yeah.
Chat, get your scores in. What do you think that Far Cry 6 DLC Joesph Collapse, which came out Tuesday last week on PC, Stadia, Xbox, and PlayStation got? Big Jesse is going with a 6.5. Anybody else want to go for a score? We'll have a supper tea. Shani's going with a 9.5. Clearly a Far Cry fan. 9.5. Mia says, I wasn't here, but I'm going to guess a 6. I missed it. Mia missed the clip. Okay, I can tell you this actually works out and has been rated as the, not necessarily worst, but not the best of these three. And it gets an average of a 5 out of 10. So you're better off playing the other two first. And if you enjoy them, give this one a whirl. If you don't enjoy those, you're certainly not going to enjoy this one. It does suffer from the problem that Zenkai mentioned, even more so that it is very easy to get the weapon, apparently, and you don't even have to upgrade some of your skills. You can, I think someone said they've been able to blast through the whole thing in 2 hours because they found that specific weapon that basically does all the heavy damage in one go, and it just wiped it out. They did go play it again, and they got it a different experience. But they did say for the first time they ever played it, to get that kind of put them off because it was
like I found the best gun in the Joesph one, and considering the enemies drop ammo specifically for the weapon you can literally just go, oh, there's the thing, thank you for the ammo, and go out of ammo, find them, all that shit again. That's all the best way I can describe it.
Yeah. So it's almost like they've shot themselves in the foot. Like maybe they should have unlocked that weapon a lot further down the line. But it's other people might get different experiences. They might not have that. They might have other weapons. So we'll see. But there you go. 5 out of 10 for the latest Far Cry 6 paid DLC. Moving on to games. Another big name game. This is the 15th one in this series. This series has been long running. This is out on all the PlayStations, PC, and all the Xboxes. Now, what's funny is this was due to come out at the end originally when the schedule's at the start of the year. This was due to come out at the end of this week. So I was going to review it on the show next week. And it landed yesterday. It came out and all the reviews came out. actually came out yesterday. It's a surprise. It came out literally 5 days early. This is King of Fighters 15. Let's check out the trailer for this and see what we think. Here we go.
前回の大会から存続が危ぶまれていたザ・キング・オブ・ファイターズの開催が発表されました。すでに世界中のファイターへの招待状は送付されているとのことです。皆さん、チャンピオンたちです。
僕たちなら余裕でしょう。
よーし、私の足引っ張んじゃねえぞ。この戦いの中で感覚をつかんだ。
俺の力について何か知ってんだろう。
この世界を正常に戻すため、あなたたちの力、魂があれば必ず。
I'm gonna fight till the
I'm gonna fight till the end.
See, even that trailer said 17th of February, but the game literally came out yesterday. You can buy this now. Miyaharu says, looks interesting, but I'll never play it. Okay, the guys are freaky looking. But why 39 fighters, not 40 or 35? 39 is a weird number. It is a bit in a way, isn't it? I play this with the wife if it comes to Game Pass. Well, it is currently, it's not on Game Pass, but it is out on Xbox, so you never know, considering that everything else in the world is pretty much on Game Pass. Could happen. It could happen. What happened there? My thing's been a bit slow. Something happened. A thing happened. Shani Harmston is now following. Shani, I thought you were following anyway. I'm confused. You've totally confused me. Shani's now following again. I don't know how, but thank you. Thank you for the follow. I don't know how that happened. But there you go. It's all good. That's why I looked confused when it popped up on the screen. I was like, what? There you go. Thank you for the follow anyway. So if you weren't following, you are following. Appreciate it. So yeah, King of Fighters. There are many games we can think of that are out there. King of Fighters has been on the circuit just as long as other games such as Tekken, Street Fighter, to name a few. But does this one hold up? Miyaharu is gifting a tier 1 sub to Shani. Thank you so much. Going to get a shout out for Miyaharu, who's also our community member of the month. So go give her a follow. Your other Facebook account got hacked. Oh, crap. So is that your Facebook one that come up then? It's it's followed from the Facebook group. Thank you. I appreciate that. That explains why it was on that screen, but not that on screen. Not that it means to anybody who's watching this, but it's all good. Thank you so much. And thank you again, Miyaharu. There you go. Let's get some sub hype. There it goes. Thank you. So, King of Fighters, Dave, do you think this is going to hold up against some of the other games that we've seen? Or do you think 15 is about as far as it should go?
Oh, they just keep bringing out, iterations upon the fighting games, don't they? The series just keep on going. I mean, Street Fighter still goes on, Tekken still goes on, Soul Calibur still goes on. They just iterate the fighting each time, add a few new characters in, save some back for DLC. I mean, Miyaharu was querying about 39 characters. There is a DLC pack with 6 more, so you can bring it up to 45. Although that DLC pack will cost you about $30.
Jesus! For 6 characters?
Yeah, some of the fighting games have got dreadful DLC. If you ever look at the Dead or Alive ones, you can spend thousands on DLC if you want for costumes and other fighters. It's ridiculous. So I bet you this isn't the only DLC pack. There's going to be bound to be more. So you can end up spending a fortune on this game if you want all the fighters. But it's probably going to be down to because if you're a fan, a really big fan, and there's a character in there you like, you're probably going to buy it because plus it's a character you spent fucking years learning all the moves for. And I think that this game, it's a series I've never played. I've heard
No,
about it through the years. Never played it. Always stuck with like Street Fighter or Soul Calibur. But there'll be people in the fighting game community just focus on this one and absolutely love it. And they're probably looking forward to this one. Be straight online, straight into the competitions. There might be some people who go into the story mode. But as is usually the case with these fighting games that have a story mode, the story is usually completely whack, makes no sense to anyone. Just an excuse to throw in a few mad cutscenes, isn't it?
Yeah.
So someone else said if it was on Game Pass, I might have a look at it. But otherwise, this one will just float by. I'll never play it.
We're already getting some scores in. Miharu's going for a 6. Shani's going for a 6.5. Miharu says people need to come up with new games instead of the 15th game. It's just like COD. It's the millionth game. Well, yeah. So we shall see. Zenkai, your thoughts on this one?
I'm not a big fan of what's this genre called again? Fighting game. I'm not a fan of these side-scrolling fighting against each other games like Mortal Kombat. There was some few exceptions that I like, but mostly because I knew who the characters are in those games. But with this one, it's kind of a eek. The only character I know that's in that game is someone called Terry Bogard. Because I have a friend who's another streamer. No shout out. But
go on, you can shout him out. Go on. I'll let you.
His name is Carney X. I know he really loves Terry Bogard. He's his favorite character in that genre game. So that's the only reason why I knew that game existed, because of that one character that he was obsessed with. But yeah, not my cup of tea. I won't buy it, but if it makes you or anyone happy, I'd say go ahead. But I wouldn't pay £30 for an extra 56 fighters.
Okay. So you're going about a 6, 6.5?
I suggest it would be like about maybe a 7.
Okay, going for a 7. Okay. Dave, what do you reckon?
It's the 15th in the series. It's probably pretty refined by now in its the way it plays. It's probably going to be good for the people who like it. I'm going to guess an 8.
Okay. Big Jesse's going with 7.5. Before I come to the question that Prince is asking, which is a bit off topic, but we'll allow it, because I did see that earlier and I thought it was quite funny. Get your other scores in, people. What do you think that King of Fighters 15, which came out yesterday on all the PlayStations, PC, and all the Xboxes, what do we reckon this got? Get your scores in and we'll do a reveal. And then while you're getting your scores in, Prince wants to ask Zenkai, off-topic question, what's the difference between Wanda Maximoff and Matt Murdock for all you Marvel fans?
The difference between Matt Murdock and Wanda Maximoff, one is blind, the other is a witch. The one got a series based on a dead vibrator. The other got 3 seasons, which were pretty good. Both were pretty enjoyable shows, and they both appeared in the span of 3 months.
That's true. Do you want to know what Prince's answer is?
What?
One knows how to talk without vision. There you go.
Fair enough.
Dear. Right, I can reveal that King of Fighters 15 got a 7.5. So Big Jesse, you were right there on the nail. So, and you were close. Zenko, you were at 7, didn't you? I think. Yeah, so very, very close, mate. It's perfect for you. He says that joke.
I didn't know it was a joke. I thought it was like a genuine question.
So there you go. King of Fighters 15, 7.5 out now. Now, a game that's on PC but is in its early access stages. There is 3 levels for this. This is quite an interesting scroller shooter, very retro shooter, but this is Vampire Survivors, which you can get now on early access. Let's have a look at this, see what you think. There you go, that's Vampire Survivors. So it is, weirdly, a twin stick shooter that you only need one stick for. Because whereas you would use one to move and the other to fire in every direction, it does the firing for you. Before I go on, Shadow Dragon, thank you so much for the raid. Can I get a shout out for Shadow Dragon, please? Welcome, buddy. Thank you so much. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Shani says, I don't like the look of this game. I'm giving it a 4.5. It's very retro, but apparently it is very addictive. Now, we talk about early access games all the time. Obviously, we talked about the Anacrusis, which we streamed last Friday. It was quite enjoyable, but the reviews for early access were a 5 out of 10. Question is this early access going to get better scores or worse, considering it's a retro style of game? Zenkai, twin stick shooters, especially one involving vampires. Do you think this is going to be much cop or not? Oh, it's frozen.
I didn't get that. My internet cut out.
Yeah, it's all right. It's frozen. Twin stick shooters, especially one with vampires. Do you think this is going to be much cop or not?
I mean, vampire shooters. I mean, you ever heard of a vampire using a gun? That's kind of stupid. Who needs why would a vampire need a gun for? That makes no sense. But yeah, it looks. I kind of like those games, where you just doing bullet hell, just kill everyone, kill. And a lot of people, a lot of parents, kids' parents are not gonna like that. But who cares? It's good, kill. But yeah, it looks fun. It looks like it belongs in the 90s. But yeah, I give it a whirl.
Shadow Dragon says the only thing you can think of guns and vampires are the Underworld films. There you go. Stick shooters, love them. Want a stick in each hand though. It's a bit weird. It does the firing for you. You just have to upgrade those guns. Dave, your thoughts on this one?
Yeah, it's got for a really sort of dated art style. Doesn't it remind me of something back on like the old NES graphics wise? Doesn't look particularly visually appealing to me, but stuff I was reading on Steam earlier, people seem to really like it.
Yeah,
it must scratch a particular itch for some players. It just sounds like it's one of those ones you just got to survive for as long as you possibly can. You're going to be collecting loot as you're going through, as you say, upgrading your character because it's got a bit of the rogue-like elements to it. But then that's kind of ish at the moment. It just doesn't really sound like enough that would really keep my interest. As to whether it will keep other people's interest in early access, it just depends on how quickly they can add stuff, how quickly they can improve it. Yeah. That's always the trouble, isn't it? You bring something out really early. Are people going to just come and look at it and be a bit underwhelmed and then go away and never come back because there's so much else just vying for attention these days? I think it's going to have to, do a lot of updates pretty swiftly to keep people interested, keep them playing. Okay. But it's not a game for me, but from the look of it, a lot of people love it.
Possibly so. It does something a little bit different that most twin stick shooters do. Some twin stick shooters are very much like you are in an arena. This just continues to move and scroll. So you can go on endlessly, which is quite cool, but it can be frustrating if you've got a health pickup and you go, shit, where did I leave that? That was about half a mile back down the road. I've got to go all the way back. It has been said that it is quite addictive. Very addictive, in fact. And the weapons that they offer are very good. They did say that the bosses are rarely very different. You just keep shooting again. There are some bigger bosses, but it pretty much treat them in the same way. That actually they're a little bit more like bullet sponges, but you can kill them. But everyone else is basically cannon fodder. But it can progress quite well. And for the levels that are there, it's possibly worth trying out. So what do we think that Vampire Survivors has got? Let's start with Zenkai. Chat, get your scores in now for Vampire Survivors, which is on early access on PC. Zenkai, your score out of 10, please.
I'm going to give it a Twilight out of 10.
A Twilight out of 10. Big Jesse's going in with a 7. Sophie says, I didn't see the trailers, but I'm going with a 7.5. Okay. Dave, what do you reckon?
I'm going to go for a 7.
You're going for a 7. Okay. I can tell you that for an early access game, this got a 7 out of 10. So it's showing some promise. it's showing some promise. So even if you don't like the graphics, it's showing a lot of promise. So we can see how it goes. We're going to move on to some more gaming news. Let's talk about PlayStation did a big indie games reveal last week. So obviously we know that they did the whole thing where they talked about the new Gran Turismo, and then there was the whole thing the day after with Ghostwire Tokyo. This time they focused on a bit more indie games. Just going to talk about some of these games. Some of these games you are going to have heard of. Some of them you're not. We'll see who has heard of these, who hasn't. The first one, probably being the most interesting for me, is Shredder's Revenge, which is the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles game. But you get to play as Master Splinter and get to kick some ass, which I don't think has ever happened in a game ever. So you get to play the rat with a stick, which I think is really cool. So that was one that was announced. A game that I think is janky as fuck, but seems to have a cult following, Hello Neighbor 2, is coming to PlayStation. I played the first one. Very bizarre game. Look how excited Middle is talking about Turtles. Yes, because it's Turtles. It's my childhood, kind of.
I'm with you. I love them as well, mate. It looks just like the old classic arcade game.
It looked
I'm up
brilliant.
for it.
It looked brilliant. So there is Samurai Gun 2, which I've been not going to lie, I don't know much about. However, they are integrating characters from Among Us in it. So when that launches, you can play as Among Us and shoot the shit out of each other, which I thought was quite funny. There is Salt and Sacrifice, another game called Post Void, which is a weird first-person shooter, which is all procedurally generated. So when you die, the world rechanges, but you go through different levels of floors of buildings. One that I know Dave will be keen on because it was originally a VR game, but the sequel to Moss Book 2 is coming out, which we did know was on the horizon for coming out, and another game called Animal Well. Any of those games, I'll start with Dave, that take your fancy that were announced? And then I'll ask a question.
Oh yeah, definitely. The two that grabbed me out of there, definitely the Turtles one. Just because I absolutely loved the Turtles arcade machine back in the day. The amount of money I must have put in that thing, ridiculous. Absolutely loved it though. So I'd definitely be up for playing this one. Just looks fab. And then Moss Book 2, because that was such a brilliant little VR title. I'm going to have to wait for it to hit PC VR because I haven't got a PlayStation VR at the minute. But I'm definitely looking forward to that because the first one was such a brilliant game.
Okay. Zenkai, any of those float your boat? Are you interested in any of those indie titles they've announced in the last week?
Yeah. I there's two that piqued my interest. Moss 2. And that's a very good VR game. I played a little bit on my VR, and I thought it was an okay game, but I didn't complete it because it's had other things I need to do. And the other one is Hello Neighbor 2, to which I knew it was getting a sequel, but I didn't expect it to get like on a big PlayStation announcement or something. I was kind of like a fan of the original Hello Neighbor as well, considering the whole mystery of what was in the basement. Yeah, I'm not sure, but that ending kept changing and changing and changing. I didn't know it was canon anymore, so I kind of lost interest in it. But it seems to be like a whole new. It looks like they finally set their foot on something, so hopefully it'll be good.
Yeah, I played Hello Neighbor part of my Halloween streams, and even though I found it a bit iffy control wise, it did intrigue me about what was going on with that game. I don't know if it's a game I'll continue, but they did do lots of spin-offs as well, didn't they? Because they did Hello Neighbor, Hide and Seek, and I think there's been 3 or 4 games even before we've got to the sequel. So I think Hello Neighbor could be, if they've improved it, the way it plays, Hello Neighbor 2 could be a very good game potentially, especially with the fan base it's got. It's got a very good fan base behind it. So we'll see. Also, in terms of PlayStation news, PlayStation 5, surprise, surprise, even though people can't bloody get their hands on one, was the best-selling console of January in the United States. Now, question is, what was the second best-selling console? Does anyone think? Zenkai, you go first.
Nintendo Switch.
Okay. Dave?
That was going to be my guess as well.
Nintendo Switch. Actually, surprisingly, no. Xbox Series X has started selling quite well. Xbox has been... Shani, yes, you're correct. No, it's not Stadia. No one fucking gives a shit about Stadia.
Not even Google give much of a shit about
Not
it.
even Google give a shit about Stadia now, which is true. Evening, Trini. How you doing, my friend? Good to see you. Thanks for tuning in. It is actually Xbox has started to overtake Nintendo Switch in the US on sales because they are ever so slightly more available than PS5, but PS5 is still the best-selling console on there. Shadow Dragon says, I give a shit about Stadia. Then you're the only person that I know.
Someone's got to.
In the entire universe. Anyway, moving on. But there you go. But also talking about PlayStation, with the fact that Horizon Forbidden West is due to land this Friday, Horizon Zero Dawn has now reached a pinnacle mark because sales have shot up because people want to play it over. How many copies do you think that has now sold up to date?
Because I think there's a post about this.
Yeah. How many million? That's what I'll say.
I think maybe it was 20 million.
Okay. What do you reckon, Dave? Chat, get your answers in. How many million copies of Horizon Zero Dawn have been sold?
I'll go for 22 million.
You know, 22 million, chat. Trini Killer says, I have no idea what Stadia is. Good. Keep it that way, mate. You do not want it. You do not want it. 16.7 million, says Sophie. Winter Queen, hello. How are you? Great to see you. First time here. Really appreciate it. That's a game I want. What, the new Horizon? We literally reviewed it earlier in the show. Enjoyed the first one so much. Big Jesse's going for 30 million. Don't worry. I saw it advertised and it doesn't look bad. Hopefully you're not talking about Stadia. I bet Stadia sold the biggest percentage of the ones they made. They sold both of them. We are very good, thank you, Winter Queen. Have a guess. How many copies of Horizon Zero Dawn have now been sold because all the hype build up to Horizon Forbidden West? Have a guess. How many million, Winter Queen? Join in. Shadow Dragon reckons over 100 million copies since come out. Came out in 2017, to give you an idea, which was the same year as Resident Evil 7 and Breath of the Wild, if I've got that right. So it was a good year.
Also, it's exclusive, so I wouldn't expect it to be that big.
86.2, it's saying, Sophie. I'm going to say to you, you've got 5 seconds, 4 seconds, 3, 2, 1. Rounded to the nearest million. It is. Oh, so Sophie's gone up 101 million. You might kick yourself. 20 million copies. Oh, Winter Queen said 18 million. All very close. Yes, Zenkai. Yes. So 20 million copies is how many it sold. And the sales have soared since more was announced about it before Christmas. So it is selling well. So there you go. We are going to move on to some more games now. Another big game out this week for all the people who love Total War. The latest Total War game, Warhammer 3, is out this Thursday on PC. Let's have a look. I'll stick to my original guess. You can't change your guesses now, Sophie. Too late. Too late. Let's have a look at the trailer for this. This is the cinematic trailer. So be warned, people. Be warned. Could be long. For Total Warhammer 3, which is out on PC this Thursday. Let's see how this did and let us know your scores in the chat. Here we go.
Key slave. The motherland has turned her back on us. Exiled to a wasted land. Brothers and sisters betrayed. Whilst the meek cling to power. Is it just? To be the bulwark the world relies on? Does it make us weak? To witness endless loss? falter. No. We are molded by it. Forged hot against an anvil of ice. Rage consumes us. But from the fire, we rise again.
Now, I know our guest from a couple of weeks ago, T-Funk, was really excited for this. He was hoping that we were going to talk about this when he was on the show, but obviously we didn't have any reviews or anything ready for it. But I think there's a couple of Shadow Dragons, obviously downloaded, ready to go. It's very poised for this one. Shani's already come in with a score, a 9.5. Strong score. Let's see if you're correct. Sophie says minus 100. Jesus. Okay, Sophie's not a fan. We know that. I'll start with Zenkai. Warhammer game? Fan or not a fan?
I even heard of it till now. And obviously it looks like a PC game, so obviously I'm not a PC player, so I've never heard of it. And I don't intend to, so it looks okay, I guess. It just not my kind of shtick, but if what's the name, love it, but go ahead and love it.
Fair enough. Tiniest Pie coming in there with a 1. Evening, Tiniest Pie, by the way. Hello, how you doing? Dave, your thoughts on this one?
Well, I like the Total War games. The Warhammer franchise, it's not what I'm that familiar with. I know a little bit more about Warhammer 40k, but not the fantasy Warhammer world. It looks nice enough though. Graphics-wise, it's got this sort of cool, dark sort of fantasy look to it. There's a number of factions you can play as. You can play as some of the demons or the factions that are against them. With the Total War games, you've always got a big sort of world map that you've got to try and conquer. Settlements to take over that you can go into siege. Either you've got to try and protect the city or get into it. You've got other bits where it's just like you against another army. And the Total War games are very good for the scale that they bring to those sorts of battles. You've just got a huge army that you command. You've got to come up with a strategy to take out the other one. They do that very well. They've been doing it very well for years. So I'm sure in this one that will be really good. So if it wasn't Warhammer, I'd probably be a bit more interested. I'd say I like the more historical ones like Rome or medieval. Those ones have been pretty good. But I'm sure that if you like the Warhammer franchise, you're probably going to love this, especially if you've been enjoying the previous ones.
Okay. A lot of people in our chat clearly don't enjoy the Warhammer franchise for the comments I'm seeing in the chat. Well, let's go. Let's see what scores this got. As I said, this is Total War Warhammer 3 out on PC. This actually comes out this Thursday. Shadow's like, am I the only one? Well, Dave seems favourable. Dave seems favourable to it. Pylord, good evening. How are you? Big Jesse's saying 7.5. Chat, get your scores in now. We've got a 9.5 from Shani, 7.5 from Big Jesse. Sophie, I think it got a 7.5. I just don't think that's what it got. But that's fair enough. She's going for what the score. Zenkai, what do you reckon this got?
I give it about I give about a 7.5.
Hang on there, mate. You understand? It's like
I was trying to make you think I was freezing for a second.
So it's 7.5 from you. Shadow Dragon's going for a 10 out of 10. Winter Queen is going for an 8 out of 10. Dave, what say you?
I'm going to go for an 8.5.
Go for an 8.5. Okie dokie. I can tell you this got a 9 out of 10. 9 out of 10, which is actually so far tonight our highest scoring game of the night. Sophie's like, fuck off. Shannon's like, yay. 9 out of 10, people. There you go, 9 out of 10. Winter Queen changed the score very quickly, but I'll still allow it. It's fine. It's fine. It's fine. So there you go, folks. That comes out this Thursday on PC. A game that we're going to review in 2 halves. We sometimes do this when some content comes out one week and then some content comes out this week. This is the new shooter, Crossfire X, which is only available on Xbox. It's not even out on PC. However, this is the campaign portion of the game, which is written by the fantastic team at Remedy, who have done Alan Wake, Quantum Break, and Control. Have they got another big hit on their hands? We will be reviewing the multiplayer version of this first-person shooter, hopefully next week. Let's have a look at the trailer. This came out last Thursday on all the Xboxes. Let's have a look. Is this going to be a decent story-told first-person shooter? Let's check it out. Here we go.
Luis Torres, I've seen your future. Global risk is scared of the weapon you will become.
Destiny chose me to save this world. I will see it done.
Blacklist, we make our own path. We protect our own.
Can you protect me from fate?
17 seconds.
We got company.
Soon, the entire world will burn, all because of him.
The ghost is here!
Crossfire X, this is the campaign. Pylor says, do we need another COD or Halo game? That's the question. Well, question is, have we got a game that has got an excellent storyline? This campaign is only actually 6 hours long. It's based on 2 stories split up in 3 hours, written by, as I say, the wonderful team at Remedy, who are known for some very good storytelling games. The Gouch says, I'm very intrigued by this. Walker, hello, how you doing? Miyaharu's like, no, not seeing this. Shaddy's going for a 9 on this one. High hopes with this one. So, Remedy have come in. They're looking only after this portion of the game, hence why we're reviewing this in 2 parts. We're going to review the other part next week, which is the multiplayer bit. Dave, firstly, do we need another first-person shooter? And secondly, if we do we need one that's got a decent story? Because let's face it, the last couple of Battlefield games and COD games, the stories are pretty much sucked donkey dick. So do you think this is going to do anything to help that cause?
Well, you could say we don't need any more FPSs, but you can say that about every genre. They're all stuffful, aren't they? There's an endless repetition of the same thing, been pulled out again and again and again. This particular one, though, I was going to try it out over the weekend, but it's not working properly on Game Pass at the moment. The campaign, the first half of the campaign, is meant to be free for Game Pass players, but when I looked on the weekend, and I think it's still the case, it's just not shown as available, so you can't play it unless you want to pay for it. I think it's about like $10 or something like that. Hopefully, they'll sort that out, and I'll have a look at it. I'm probably going to be looking at it more out of morbid curiosity, though, because I've seen absolutely no positive press about it. Everything I've seen to say it's absolute dross. Terrible story. Graphics are actually a bit poor when you look at it in more detail. It's very short, as you say. It's split into, I think, 2-3 hour episodes. Yeah. Just nothing really redeeming about it, which is a shame since it's coming from Remedy. They've made some brilliant games in the past. I can only assume they're giving it to like the interns have a go with while the main guys are making something decent. So I'll have a look at it just to see how bad it is. But
okay. It's funny that Xbox on their own channel did announce that you could get access to the game last Thursday, and you're right, I can't find it anywhere.
Don't work. Simply really don't work.
It's really weird. Miyaharu's coming in with an 8 for this. Walker fan says, currently high on meds, still have some pain, but getting better each day. Hope the operation all went well, Walker. Sending you lots of love. Mwah. She says, I've missed my Twitch family. It's great to see you. Sophie says, I'm going to head off. I'm going to dash. Have a good stream. I'll watch the rest of it tomorrow, so I know the rest of the games. I'm going to score them 7.5 for the rest of the games. Good night. You might regret that, Sophie. We'll see. You'll find out when you watch it back tomorrow on Catch Up. Good night, Sophie. Winter Queen says, I'm not a fan of Crossfire X, to be honest. I'm going to give this a 2.5. So we will see what happens. Now, Zenkai, your thoughts on Crossfire X?
It's hard to say, really, because most of these first-person shooters are just exactly the same. Like, I'm not a fan. I'm like a big fan, but I still play them of first-person shooters. If it's like something like unique about it, this just looks like something we've seen before. And that's my only problem with these kinds of first-person shooters. Same bland plots, same bland characters, same places. Like, some first-person shooters that I really love, like, I had to name a few, but but some are really good, but some can be terrible. But this one looks a bit decent. Like, I'd give it a whirl, but I'll only play it if it's free.
Okay. All right. What do we reckon this got out of 10 for Crossfire X, the story campaign? Dave, I'll start with you. Chat, if you haven't already guessed, get your scores in now. We've had a 9, an 8, a 2.5. Get your scores out of 10 for Crossfire X. What do we reckon this got? Dave, go for it.
I'll go for a 5.
Going for a 5. Winter Queen said, I agree. If it was free, I would play it. Zenkai, what do you reckon?
I'd give this possibly about a 6.5.
A 6.5. Okay. Anybody else want to guess before I move on? This is out on Xbox One and Xbox Series S and X. And it came out last Thursday, if you can find it. The Gouch says 7. Warfan, I'm just giving everything a 10. Blame the meds. Pylord says a 6, and Shadow Dragon says an 8. I can now tell you, cheers, that this holds a new record, especially for our show. We are 59 shows in, and this is the lowest scoring game we've ever had on the show.
Oh, wow.
This gets a 3 out of 10.
I was expecting lower, to be honest, but okay.
The lowest we've ever had is a 4, and we've had 2 4s, I think. This is the lowest scoring game we have ever had on the show. Not even Remedy could save this. Yes, the story is okay, but it doesn't save the janky motion playing, the terrible controls, the fact that most of the enemies are just shite. They're the same. You shoot a guy, there's another guy that's got a shield. You shoot him in the legs. You've got a heavy guy who just takes a couple more shots than that. You've got drones that apparently do fuck all, so you just shoot them out the sky. The only thing they said was there was quite a unique mechanic where on one of the stories, you could swap between the 2 characters. And there's one bit where you're trying to escape from this tower and you keep bouncing back to the other character who is sniping and basically being like the taking out the enemies to clear their way. which they said was a good mechanic, but it only lasts a short portion of that game. So unfortunately, Crossfire X at the moment is a 3 out of 10. I've heard rumours, because we are going to talk about the multiplayer next week. The multiplayer could potentially be even worse. So we could have our lowest scoring game ever on the show. Now, for something that might not score as badly, this is an interesting one. This came out on PlayStation 4 and 5 last Wednesday. It then came out on Xbox last Friday. It's already out on Switch and PC. This is the game Unbound Worlds Apart. Let's have a look at the trailer, see what you think. Here we go. So that's Unbound Worlds Apart. Now, I'm sure we actually looked at this last year when it came out on PC. But now it's finally made its way onto PlayStation and Xbox. Bit weird that there is 2 days difference on day of release. I don't know why. I found that really bizarre, but that's what happened. So Pylor was like, I already love the little wizard guy. Shani's coming in with an 8 out of 10 for this one. Dave, I'll start with you. What do you reckon to this?
I quite like the look of it. It looks like a decent, challenging puzzle platformer. Reminds me a little bit of the Ori games,
yes,
on the Xbox, just the sort of visual style. I think I'd definitely give this one a go. I like the look of the mechanic where you just open those portals and it affects stuff within that circle. Like it might affect the gravity, or it might mean an enemy doesn't exist when it pulls in that particular bit of the world. It looks like it's be really cool. So yeah, what I'm gonna look out for.
It's definitely that mechanic, as you say, reminds you of Ori and the Blind Forest. There's a game called Hue where you change the colours and that affects the world. It's got that thing that bubble changes. We've seen it in a few other games, but it does look quite cool. Even there was a remake of Great Guiana Sisters where you would change sisters and it would change the world, so it would change different things. So a big wall that would be in front of you would then become a small wall as you change world. I think it's quite a cool mechanic. It's not a new thing, but if it's done well, it could be very good. Zenkai, what are your thoughts on this one?
This looks pretty good, not gonna lie. I never really played these kind of games, but visually they look amazing. I'll give them games that they look really great. I will give them that, considering they're all pixelaty and it fits with the theme and all that. I mean, I'd play it, but not. No, if it was like above £10, I'd say no. If it was like under £10, I'd probably say maybe.
Okay. I could always get Dave to do his Google where he checks out how much it is. We'll do that.
I'm just looking on Steam, $16.99 at the moment.
Oh, $16.99.
Wait for a sale. No rush.
Yeah.
Plenty of other stuff to play.
There you go. Right, time to get your scores in chat. A lot of you have already got your scores in. As we say, Shani gave an 8, Miyaharu gave a 10. Tiniest Pie 8.5, Winter Queen 7.5, Gouch also 7.5. Anyone else wants to guess the score, please do so now. Zenkai, I'll start with you. What do you reckon this one got?
I'm suggesting that thing got a 7.
Okay, going for 7. Dave, what about you?
I'm going to go for an 8.
Going for an 8. Jesse says, no more 7s. Do you mean no more 7s? Or no, you're sticking with a 7? You've confused me, Jesse. Confused me completely. There you go. Right. I can tell you, I'm going to try and drag this out. This, as I said, is already out on Switch and PC. So if you like it, you can get it now. Came out last Wednesday on PlayStation for all the PlayStations. And came out last Friday for all the Xboxes. Weird. Yes, I know, but that's how it got released. Half wrote a message. Forget that. Then wrote 7. Okay, cool. Pylord, 7.5. She says, so just a 7. Glad we cleared that up. I can tell you, it got a 7.5, people. 7.5 out of 10 for Unbound Worlds Apart. Now, next game. Probably the strangest thing, because I'm like, why would you play this game when you could basically do this if you wanted to? Yes, Winter Queen, let's go. You got that nailed on the head. So did Pylord, so did Gouch. Congratulations for getting it right. I do question this and go, why, when you could actually physically do this anyway? This is the wonderful game that came out last Tuesday on PC. Ladies and gentlemen, I bring to you Model Builder. I shit you not. You go, Model Builder. Now, interestingly enough, the chat have gone, quite like the look of this. It's quite clever. I have to say, now watching the trailer back, I'm like, I could see why this is appealing. Just in the same way that, like, I love Lawn Mowing Simulator. I could see people who go, shit, I only have to pay for a game. I don't have to buy expensive models and kits. I don't have to lose pieces. I could make this. I'm not saying I would play this, but I could see what the appeal is. Miyaharu's like, ooh, lots of people going, ooh, in the chat. Miyaharu said it was 7 out of 10. Winter Queen saying, not my type of game, but the mechanics look great. The graphics look good. I have to agree. Maybe an 8. See, everyone's saying maybe an 8. The Gouch is maybe a 6.5. That being said, Zenkai, would you give this a whirl?
I'd actually give this a whirl, you know. I don't care for the asking prices. I'd give this thing a fucking whirl. This looks amazing. Like, I actually built some models myself. I do have right over there, but it's too far to reach. But yeah, I do enjoy building models, but not a lot. But yeah, considering models do cost real money, you seem like, and it is the good things about models in real life is that you can actually build them in real life. But if this was like also had a VR port, that'd be amazing. Just saying. Instead of VR port, I'd play that shit. I'd play that till my dying days. But yeah, I give this a whirl. I'll buy it if it's on console, but hopefully it is.
At the moment, it's only on PC, but it
on
could be
PC.
made to console.
If it comes to console, I'll play it. I'll play it to death.
it turns out most of the simulator games start their life on PC, and if they sell well, they then move to console versions. So if this does well, you could be seeing it. Dave, your thoughts?
Yeah, I can see it appealing to the crowd that love all the other simulator games that are out there. Like you mentioned, Lawnmower Simulator, Power Wash Simulator. You seem to be able to simulate any of these sorts of things, and people enjoy them. So I can see the appeal there. I think I remember trying to build some of these models years and years ago, and you know what it's like. You're trying to clip out those fucking pieces, and they go flying. You lose half of them. Bits then don't fit together that should. You screw the painting up, it all goes wrong. You can sort of have a go in this without all the mess.
Yeah.
No glue getting everywhere. If you get the paint wrong, you can just wipe it off, start again nice and easily, make it look nice. And then once you're done, you haven't got to figure out what to do with the stupid thing once you've built it. You know, it just sits there in a virtual shelf. You haven't got to like shove it in the loft or find some space for it somewhere. So I can see there being an appeal for it. As Zenko was saying, it'd be quite a cool thing for VR.
It is. The couch said yes. Said VR would be real sweet.
I could see that would be really cool, especially if you could keep that level of detail in VR. It would look really quite good. So you never know. It'd be nice if they could do a VR port, but for what it is, just on the PC, it looks really nice.
Okay. All right. Flitwit, hello. Good evening. Good to see you. Flitwit says, coming in with the jokes again, I don't suffer from insanity. I enjoy every minute of it. And why not? Go for it. He had some cracking dad jokes on his stream last night. I'll leave it at that. That's all I'm going to say. Go check him out, and then you type in exclamation dad, and you get a dad joke. Simple as that. Simple as that. Right. I think Zenkai's got a model in his hand, actually.
Yeah, I got one. This model literally spitting down now. Cause I can't probably see it, but it was like a little knight. I thought it was pretty cool. I also got like a giant fucking robot. But that was pretty cool as well. So I thought, this looks pretty cool. I'll do them in spare time. And these literally only take about an hour to do, but that's pretty much it. And considering they're stickers, it's less satisfying than paint, but obviously it's less messy for my fingers because I'm not an artist. But like I said, I'd buy that game. I'd totally play it. Okay. I noticed it has like some Star Trek models in it. Hopefully they have more licensed stuff that's coming soon. Maybe, like maybe Star Wars.
That might come as DLC or things. Yeah, you might. As you say, Star Wars, Marvel stuff. Christ, you can imagine that potentially, if they could get the licenses, it's endless, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's endless what they could do with it. I think it'd be really cool. All right, what do we reckon? Some of you have already given us a score. Just going to have a recap. Miyaharu coming in with a 7 out of 10. Pi said maybe an 8. Winter Queen said maybe an 8. Gouch said a 6.5. Jesse's 7.5. Anyone else want to have a guess at score? What model builder, which came out Tuesday last week on the PC, what that gets? Zenkai,
sorry, you go first.
Let's go for your score. Zenkai, go on, you go first.
I give this game an 8.
Okay, 8 out of 10. Before I ask Dave, Captain Hamilton, hello, how are you? Good to see you again. Says that would surely be real popular for those folk with a 3D printer. For us, can you imagine if you could hook that up to a 3D printer? The amount of money you would save. Seriously, be amazing. Pylord is coming in with a 7 as well. Dave, what do you reckon this scored?
I'm going to go for a 7.5.
Okay. Well, I can tell you, it got a 7.5. Exactly that. 7.5 out of 10. Johnny the Dodger, good evening. He says, what have I missed? We've just been talking about a model making simulator, which has done very well. Also, we've talked about Horizon Forbidden West, Far Cry 6 DLC, King of Fighters 15, the new Total War Warhammer game. We've been talking about lots of things about how games are still making money, even if they're shit. All this sort of stuff. But we've still got 5 more games to come. We've still got plenty of news for you. And we're going to be giving you a quick rundown of what happened at the Nintendo Direct conference. Now, before we move on to our next 5 games, a few more bits of news. I'm going to jump to Zenkai, actually, because he has got some movie-related news. Now, Zenkai, if those who know, Zenkai is my co-host. This is a co-host double bill. Dave is my co-host for this show, and Zenkai is normally my co-host for the movie show. So this is going to be interesting because Zenkai, this is where they merge. The shows merge. Zenkai is going to give us some news on game-related films and TV. Go for it, Zenkai.
Okay. This was just announced about an hour ago while doing the show. So it came as a surprise to me while I was checking Twitter because my notifications were blowing up. So, yeah, the biggest news we have, who here is a fan of Sonic the Hedgehog? Because, yeah, the sequel hasn't been released yet, but it's game sequel number 3.
Already?
Yep, and it's like to be released. Hasn't got a release date yet, but I believe it's coming around between 2024 and 2025. A sequel already. And it hasn't been released.
Look, I mean, I'm going to very quickly say this. Hello, Viking Wadey. Good to see you. What I'm going to say is, I've not seen the first Sonic film. I've got it sitting on my Skybox, right? I think it was on Netflix as well, I think. It's on both.
It's still on Netflix.
Right. I know it was a surprise hit. Now, I've been told it's very good. I know there's people there. Pixie, who was here earlier, she loved it. So I reckon I'll enjoy it. And I know that we've got the second one coming. But how can they greenlight a third one if the second one hasn't, like, it could bomb? We don't know it's going to bomb. It could be just as good, but that's insane to me.
But that's not it from Sonic. And the sequel still hasn't released, but they have announced a TV show for Knuckles. Starring your favorite actor, Idris Elba.
Really? Idris Elba?
Yeah, he's reprising his role as Knuckles.
Oh, wow. So this is almost the equivalent of Peacemaker, who got his own TV series from Suicide Squad, except this is Knuckles.
Yeah. And, yeah. This is also Paramount Plus, by the way.
Okay. So,
what the last one...
We'll get it on some other channels in the UK for all our UK viewers here. So...
And obviously, your favorite game, Halo, hasn't been released yet. Season 2, already greenlit.
The fucking first season ain't even out. Everyone's been... What? See, now this is what gets me, right? I've not seen the Halo TV series because it's not out yet. But everyone's been, even all the Halo fans have been ragging on it. They've been basically saying it's going to be shit. It's going to fail. And I'm like, I'd actually give it a try. And I fucking hate Halo, as you all know. Except Halo Infinite. That's all right. But I'd give it a whirl, right? But that's getting so much trash from the press. How, again, what the fuck? How can they greenlight a second series with the first series? No one's even watched the first series yet. This is insane.
I guess it's to make more people get Paramount Plus because here in the UK, it's officially coming to UK Paramount Plus.
It is, and when is that happening?
Summer this year.
Okay.
So all that content is going to be ready for us in July, maybe.
Okay, so again, we're going to be about 6-7 months behind, a bit like we were with Disney Plus.
Yeah.
When Disney Plus landed, we were about 6-7 months behind, but we still end up getting all the same content. So there you go.
That's all gaming related ones.
So I'm just going to Walker fan. I've just noticed he's off. I'm going to go rest up. Something's not hurt. Need to relax. Have a good one. Take care. Hope the surgery heals soon. Take care, Walker fan. Thank you so much for being here. Viking Wadey, glad you made it, my friend. Good to see you here. Pylord said Police Academy 2 sucked, but they still made another 24 of those films.
Even if the critics slate these things, you know, the people that go and watch them probably pay no attention to the critic reviews anyway. Especially the Sonic movies that are aimed at the kids. They're not going to be reading the reviews. They'll just go and watch it during the Easter holidays.
Yeah, true. Captain Hamilton says you are stretching the word equivalent there, mate. Okay. Probably true. Okay. And any other little tidbits or news that's just dropped while it's hot?
Five Nights at Freddy's 2 is getting a release nationwide on mobile.
Mobile. Okay.
There's actually a message from the future of the Sega Corporation that was just released, like in a future announcement from CEO about the future of Sega.
Oh, do we want to save that for next week's show? Because that sounds quite important. Is it really important, or is it actually not that? It's like, oh, it's a really big announcement. No, it's not.
No, it's just no. I'm just looking at it now. It's just about the game. It's about the movie.
Fine. Screw it. We'll move on.
Yeah.
There you go, folks. If you want to find out more movie news and stuff, you should watch Mag and Zenkai Go to the Movies. Next scheduled one, I think, is going to be on the 2nd of March. Yeah, 2nd of March, Wednesday, 2nd of March. Check it out. With,
work-related stuff. Trust me,
work
you don't want to know.
it's all good. It's all good. We're going to be talking about the new Texas Chainsaw Massacre, Jackass 4. Christ, what else are we talking about? I've actually forgotten.
Ice Age.
Ice Age, yeah.
Sing.
And a load of it. Sing, yeah, came out.
Uncharted.
Yes, Uncharted. And there was something else. Crap. And it's going out of my head. That moon thingy. Space.
Moonfall.
Moonfall, yeah. I can tell you now, without spoilers for our show in 2 weeks, it's fucking shit. Don't worry about it. Right, let's move on with some more games. And we've got a bit more news coming up. So these are last 5 games of the night. We're going to blast through these. So, yet another remaster of a remake of a remaster of a remake, but this time for Nintendo Switch on the cloud. This came out last Thursday. This is a mash of games because this is Kingdom Hearts 1.5 remix. It is the 2.5 prologue and Kingdom Hearts 3. God help us. Here's to coincide with the 20th anniversary of Kingdom Hearts. Let's have a look at the trailer and then let's see, is it worth all these things being on the cloud? Here we go.
Walk away, you don't hear me say, please, oh baby, don't go. Simple and clean is the way that you're making me feel tonight. It's hard to let it go. You're giving me too many things lately. You're all I need. Oh, you smiled at me and said, don't get me wrong, I love you, but does that mean I have to meet your father? When we are older, you'll understand what I meant when I said no. I don't think life is quite that simple. You walk away, you don't hear me say, please, oh baby, don't go. Simple and clean is the way that you're making me feel tonight. It's hard to let it go. Simple and clean.
There you go. So that's a lot of Kingdom Hearts for you, but there's 3 of these games that came out, but they are available on Nintendo Switch Cloud. Now, I know a lot of people who love these, but the question is, does this hold up on Nintendo Switch? Pi has actually said, I reckon, is that Pi is in 3 the game you're looking forward to, as or 3 out of 10 for the lot? Big Jesse said, what the fuck was that? Minus 100. Zenkai, Kingdom Hearts games. Is it going to work on a Switch? And is it going to work from a cloud?
I'm hard to say because I never played a single Kingdom Hearts game in my life. But it should make sense considering it's anime mixed with Disney. Yeah. I mean, that should make sense, right? But no, I'm not interested because the main characters are... Considering I'm not a big anime guy, it's not that appealing to me. Especially with the whole anime characters next to iconic 2D animated cartoons. It looks so weird to me. I mean, I can see why it has its fan base. Why so many people love the game. But for me, it's not my cup of tea. I mean, it looks great, but the whole... Considering there's so many spin-offs as well that are canon to this series. And since considering it's been happening for about how long now? 17 years? 20 years?
20-year anniversary now, yeah.
20 years. I have to say I'm too late to jump on the train for this because there's so much lore in this. And you'd think you see the Mickey Mouse with a giant key sword in the Disney parks, but no. Yeah, But hopefully, Nintendo, considering from what I've seen of Kingdom Hearts, it's not that graphic heavy, so it should run fine on the Switch.
Okay. Now, Johnny the Dodger said, I'd rather eat my missus' cooking and listen to her singing than play this. A lot of people saying it looks shit, low scores. Johnny says 0 out of 10 for me, and Captain Hamilton said, never found the Kingdom Hearts series appealing. Didn't appeal to me. I think for Disney fans, it might. Dave, your thoughts?
I'm much the same as everybody else. It's never piqued my interest at all. If you're just looking at it on that trailer, nah, I wouldn't play it. I think it's especially disappointing that they're doing it as a cloud version only on the Switch. Because really, there's absolutely no reason why the first 2 games at least couldn't run locally on the Switch. If they could do like a physical release or a digital download to your console. But no, you've got to play those old PS2, I think PSP games via the cloud. So they're sort of limiting you there. And from what I've read, that the cloud stream on the Switch isn't really that great. So you're paying a lot for inferior versions of all those games. You could pick them up on a different console, probably like the PS4, for probably about 20-25 quid.
Yeah.
But you've got to pay the luxury of £90 or whatever it is to play them via the cloud and the Switch. Considering it's a portable system, you could take that system out, but if you haven't got a good Wi-Fi connection, you can't play those games on it. So it's a pretty poor solution, I think. So I think it's one of those ones. Don't buy it on the Switch if you are interested. If you've got another console, buy the collection on there.
You'll probably get it cheaper.
Much better. Yeah, cheaper. You get a much better experience.
Okay. So, what do we reckon this got out of 10? Chat, get your scores out of 10 if you haven't already had a guess. Zenkai, what do you reckon? Do you think this...
Considering it's all those other games into one, and those other games are really highly regarded, and considering it's just a cloud version, and since they said the cloud version is not that very good on Nintendo Switch, kind of like how PlayStation Now is, considering it's cloud-based, I'd have to say I'd say about a 7.5 at best.
7.5 at best. Okie dokie. Dave, with you?
Yeah, it's a tricky one, because I think normally the games would score pretty high because it's a popular series, but again, I think they've been stuck with just those cloud versions will bring it down. So I'm going to go a tiny bit lower. I'm going to go for a 7.
Okay. Pylord and Big Jesse going in low with 4s and 5.5. Johnny said definitely a 0 for me. Captain Hamilton says it's got a following for some reason. Probably going to get about a 7. I could tell you that some of the scathing reviews for this, when it come out, were as low as a 1. Because the people playing it, obviously playing on cloud, and it was so fucking janky. However, people who had decent Wi-Fi and played it, the scores did get bumped up. So it's nowhere near as bad as Crossfire X was. However, it did end up with a total of 6 out of 10. Because I basically said, exactly what Dave said, why was this on cloud? Could have been quite easily some games of it. You can get it on other formats. It doesn't work as a cloud game. It's not worth getting. Save your money. Buy it on a different thing. 6 out of 10. It's average at best, people. Johnny's like, never. But there you go. Our next game is a PC storytelling game. This came out also on the same day, last Thursday. This is called No by Heart. Let's have a look at the trailer. See what you think. Here we go, people.
Kohi is gone. Zenaida is worried because he promised to drive her to Kazan.
I've had bad dreams. Something bad is going on in this town.
You need to see this.
Kaja grabbed me and locked us in the bathroom. Dad banged on the door.
He boozed away the last of his brains.
They say it's some kind of emergency.
I'm having deja vu. Like this has happened before.
This doesn't feel like the town I knew. Do you really not recognize me? Here's a clue. Toma, you, and...
Where is Asya now, alone in the middle of the night?
Hey, mister! Yeah, you're there in the uniform.
It's on! Trust is the most important thing now.
Former friends are turning into strangers.
Sorry, buddy. An order's an order.
And I had the luck to get stuck with you here.
You here for a blood test?
He inhaled smoke and received burns on his skin. His condition is serious.
Yes, I've seen the helicopters. Yes, I am home. I am fine.
Intercity travel has been suspended and curfews are in effect at night hours.
How about we steal the car?
Don't move or I'll shoot!
I'm going to get out of here. It's now or never.
Your time's up.
See you tomorrow. I hope there'll be a tomorrow. The tea is so delicious. Just like when we were kids, home after a snowball fight.
As kids, we were always anxious to know what the fence was for, what was on the other side. We had no clue that we were the ones hidden behind it.
Wherever we may go, all roads lead to our oak tree. Come closer. I want to hear the raindrops fall on your umbrella.
There you go, folks. That is No by Heart. Johnny says, Pilot said, I feel like I'm on drugs. Captain Alison was like, I'm bored. Johnny says, I'm now in the Matrix. God help me. Fancy a game of Candy Crush instead. That game doesn't look like a game. It's very much a story-driven thing. Now, there's games that are story-driven. We talked about the Life is Strange Remastered trilogy last week, which are very story-driven. This is obviously not on the same level. It's an independent company that have made it. But obviously, it is from a foreign company that have made it. And I think this is where it might cause issues because I'm not being funny. Some of the voice acting in that was so fucking wooden. It was terrible. So that does the raised question of, well, if the voice acting's not great, how does it translate as a game? If it's been made in a different country, is it actually going to work? Well, Dave, your thoughts on this?
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing as you about the voice acting. Some of it in there wasn't particularly good. And that trailer was a little bit on the dull side as well. I thought it had finished at one point, then it just kept on going for at least another minute. I thought it'd hit the end and like bats with a sigh of relief, and it carried on. I was like, come on, get to the fucking end. I mean, as you say, it's a narrative adventure. I think it's basically set in like sort of Soviet era in a town where the main character's like a dead end job, but an old childhood friend comes back to town. It's meant to sort of give you hope to try and escape his humdrum life, and I think you end up playing through a lot of their memories as they're rekindling their friendship. So it looks like there's a lot of little mini games involved in it. So it's very story based, a lot of mini games, but it doesn't look particularly interesting. Graphics wise, it's a little bit basic. I don't really like that style where the characters have got mouths but no eyes. It just looks a bit weird. It's not a narrative one I'd go for. I usually like narrative stuff, but this one doesn't look particularly good.
Okay. Captain Hamilton says these artistic playable stories are a dime a dozen on Steam. I don't see this one standing out. Zenkai, your thoughts on this?
It's hard to say, really. I mean, it looks okay. Considering the graphics wise, it reminds me of what's the game called? Untitled Goose Game.
Yes.
The models and all that.
Yeah.
I'm assuming it's made by the same company. By that,
No.
yes. It looks okay. The acting looked so fucking bad, and I thought my acting was bad. And yeah, like this looks like one of them artsy games, who try to like those games purely exist to win an award and nothing else. They don't care about the game sales. It looks like just one of them games. And I don't care for them kind of games, to be honest. They just look okay at best.
Okay.
Like this seems like no replayability at all. Like looks like after I beat the story, there's no reason to play this ever again. It'd be like a waste of money. It was like a free game, maybe, but no, never gonna play it.
Okay. So what do we think this got? This was No by Heart, which came out on PC Thursday last week. Get your scores in the chat now. Tiniest Pie is already coming with a 2. Goose Game had an I love Goose Game. It was fantastic.
It's brilliant.
It is brilliant. Very clever for what it is. Very clever for what it is. 4 out of 10. It's like Radiohead. Weird and shite. 0 out of 10. Dave, give us a score.
I'll go for a 6.
Okay, go for a 6. Zenkai.
I give this maybe a 5 at best.
Okay. Well, you would be right to do so because it got a 5 out of 10.
Yes.
Get in, Zenkai. Get in. There you go. Our next game. Now, there is a lot of buzz about this game. This was originally announced back 11 years ago, but then didn't reach anyone in the West until now. In the East, they've been able to play this game since 2019. Finally made its way onto PC last Friday. This is a game that a lot of people have been waiting for, but is it going to be any good? This is Lost Ark. Let's have a look at this. There you go, Lost Ark. Now, people have been losing their shit over this because they've been waiting for it for ages. Like, been waiting 11 years for it to come out. And then when it finally came out, you could get it over in the east part of the world. And now it's finally made over away to us and over to American audiences. Dave, starting with you, Lost Ark. Do you think it's going to be the thing that it's supposed to be hyped up for?
It looks pretty spectacular. I don't usually get into MMOs just down to like time to play them really, but look at the graphics in there. It does look really nice. It's gone for that sort of isometric 3D view, a bit similar to like how they did with the Ascent, but it's got the same sort of level of detail in the graphics that game had, and you can see like the moves that the characters do look pretty spectacular. But it because it's one of those MMORPGs, there's a lot of grind to it, so they're expecting you to play for a long time. I think that the audience that goes to those types of games expects that anyway. They go in knowing there's going to be a grind, and they're just going to go through it to get the best armor, best weapons, plow through the bosses and do the raids and stuff like that. So I'm sure for that crowd, they'll go for it. It's free to play as well, so it's got that going for it. Probably with it being free to play, I think it's got various currencies in the game that are probably a little bit tricky to understand what all of them are meant to do because it's got so many there.
Yeah.
But, probably people that will spend the time with this will get the gist of that and probably enjoy it. Interesting thing about this as well, this is from the same people that did the Crossfire multiplayer Smile game. So this is that is another series that's massive in the East. That we're only just getting now in the West, but it's the same people, Smilegate, that make both of them. The only negatives that I've really noticed about this, looking at the Steam reviews, is just down to the queues at the moment trying to get onto the servers because it's just come out, so new, so many people trying to get into it, people having to wait. Some people aren't patient to just moan about it on the Steam reviews. But I think ultimately it looks like it's going to be a decent game for people.
Yeah. Okay. Captain Hamilton says, Steam has been putting this in front of me every chance it gets. A couple of Twitch chaps I know say it's good. Don't know if I've got the time to jump into another MMO though. So we'll see. Zenkai, your thoughts on this one?
Not my kind of thing. Like I said earlier with that dog thing, whatever it was called. It looks okay. I'd give it a whirl, considering it was free. I think it said in the trailer.
Yeah, it's free. Yeah, free to play.
I give it a whirl if it's PC, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, then I can't play it. My laptop is not fucking strong at all. But if I had a dedicated PC, and if it was strong enough, I'd play it for free. Give it like an hour of a time. If I enjoy it, I'll keep playing. If I didn't, I'd uninstall it immediately.
Okay. Right, what scores do we reckon, gents? Let's hammer away with this. Chat, get your scores out immediately. We've got a few more things to get through. We're fastly running out of time, so we're going to blast through these next couple of bits of the show. Dave,
let's go for an 8.5, mate.
Okay, Zenkai?
7.
Johnny's coming in with a 3 for this. Not looking forward to it. Anyone else got any scores? You got 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Free to play. This is going to get about an 8, says Captain Hamilton. Viking Wade, he says, reckon this is going to get an 8 as well. Tiny Spy says a 2. Johnny says it's an improvement on the last couple of games. I can tell you, it got 8 out of 10, folks. 8 out of 10 for Lost Ark on the PC, which came out last Friday. Josh says 7.5, just sneaking in there. Sneaking in. Our last 2 games of the night before we crack on with some other stuff. And I've got quite a big announcement to make, which I need to do before we end the show. This one is out on PlayStation 4, but weirdly not 5. But it is on Xbox Series X and Xbox One, on Switch and PC. This came out yesterday. You can also get it on Game Pass for free. This is Infernax. Let's have a quick look at this one. God help me if this plays. Let me just check this has not gone to shit. Let's see. Here we go. Here you go, Infernax, which basically, I mean, Viking Wade is saying getting Sega vibes there. But this is, to me, this is Castlevania if they cranked it up to 11 and didn't take it seriously. This is what the feeling I'm getting. Zenkai, start with you.
This was like a Ghosts and Goblins sequel.
Yeah.
This is a game that I'd play if it was made in the 90s. I would totally play this. It was released back then. But one day I might try it. It looks good. I give it a whirl if it's not expensive, of course, because but I give it a try. I give it a whirl.
Okay. All right, Dave.
Yeah, as you say, it looks like stuff like Ghosts and Goblins, doesn't it? It looks like an old NES game to me.
Yeah.
It looks okay for what it's trying to do. You know, it's just trying to sort of catch that old retro feel for people who like those action games. You've got to take out all the monsters, fight some big bosses. I think it's got lots of choice and consequence throughout the game. You know, you can choose to kill someone or spare them. Lots of things come up like that. That's then going to influence the ending that you get.
Yeah.
It looks okay. It's not something I'd ever play.
Okay.
I'm sure there's plenty of people who like the retro feel it's going for.
Okay. Chat, get your scores in now. What do you reckon this got? This is Infernax on PS4, Xbox Series X and One, and free on Game Pass, Nintendo Switch and PC, and was out yesterday. Captain Hamilton says, I'm unsure about this one. Again, the Castlevania types are all over the place. This one does look like it's kind of self-aware humour to it. That'll either be real fun or it will fall flat. We shall see. Soundwaves, your first time here. Hello. Welcome to the channel. Greatly appreciate you being here. Johnny says, I'm going to 6. Viking Wadey, a 7. Dave, what say you?
I'm going to go for a 7 as well.
Going for a 7. Zenkai?
Same 7.
Go for a 7. I can tell you, this got an 8 out of 10. It is definitely one of those games you want to try. If you've got it on Xbox, go play it. It's free. Came out yesterday. 5.5, says Josh. People are loving this one. Infernax gets an 8 out of 10. Our last game of the night, but we haven't quite finished the show. We're going to have to hammer through this next bit, I'll tell you. This is the 9th game in this series. God help me. We had King of Fighters 15 earlier. But this came out today, people. This is out on all the PlayStations, all the Xboxes, Nintendo Switch, and PC. This is Dynasty Warriors 9. Let's have a look at this one. Go! That is Dynasty Warriors 9 Empires. Do we need to know the lore? I have no idea. I've never played these games. I'm not going to lie. Dave, going with you. This one. 9th one in the series.
I've never played any of the mainline Dynasty Warriors games. The only thing I've played that's basically the same sort of thing is a spin-off that they did for Zelda Breath of the Wild. So they did it in the same sort of style where it's you as a single warrior versus hundreds or thousands of enemies at once. It's that type of game where it just throws loads at you. You're meant to just sort of play through it, learn the combos to effectively take out the enemies and the bosses, build your character, get more spells and combos, and just rinse, repeat, and carry on. The mainline games never particularly interested me, so I wouldn't bother with this.
Okay, all right. Viking Wadey said, "I love these games as a teenager. Been going since the PS1." There you go. Zenkai, your thoughts on our last game of the evening?
Looks boring. I don't give a shit. If it's ninth in the series, must be doing something good. But to me, it looks boring as shit. Either I'm tired, or that looks boring as shit.
All right. Well, let's see what it scored. Get your scores in the chat. What do you think that Dynasty Warriors 9 out on all the PlayStations, all the Xbox, Nintendo Switch, and PC out today? What do you reckon it got? Get your scores in chat now, please. Dave, out of 10.
I'll go for a 7.
Okay. Zenkai?
6.
6. Viking Wadey's going for a 7.5. Captain Hamilton's going for a 7. Big Jesse's going for a 7. Tiniest Pie is going for a 7. Josh is going for a 6. Any more bidders? Get ready. 3, 2, 1. Josh. Oh, Johnny the Dodger says 5. Just get that in there before. Josh is actually right. It got 6 out of 10. So not the best one. Zenkai's out there. Pylor came in with a 7.5. Probably not the best one in the series, but a 6 out of 10, folks. So close, Captain Hamilton. So close. So close. So that's it, folks. Those are our 15 games. Not the end of the show yet. Not the end of the show by far. I've got a couple of things to tell you and announce. But quick rundown of the games we've done tonight. Edge of Eternity out on Xbox, PC, and PlayStation. 5 out of 10. Horizon Forbidden West on PS4 and 5. Got an 8.5 out of 10. Crusaders King 3 DLC Royal Court out on PC. Got an 8.5. Far Cry 6's DLC Joesph Collapse on PC, Stadia, Xbox, and PlayStation. Got a 5 out of 10. King of Fighters 15 on all the PlayStations, PC, and Xboxes. Got a 7.5. Vampire Survivors on Early Access got on PC. Got 7 out of 10. Total War Warhammer 3 out on PC. Got a 9 out of 10. Crossfire X main story campaign on all the Xboxes. Got a 3 out of 10. Unbound Worlds Apart on all the PlayStations, all the Xboxes, already out on PC and Switch. Got a 7.5. Model Builder on PC, 7.5. Kingdom Hearts, a load of games on the Switch. Got a 6. No by Heart on the PC, 5 out of 10. Lost Ark on the PC, 8 out of 10. Infernax on PS4, all the Xboxes, Switch and PC, 8 out of 10. And Dynasty Warriors 9 on PlayStations, all the Xboxes, Switch and PC, got a 6 out of 10. Those are our 15 games from this week. We will have more games for you next week, including, I hope, the latest addition to Destiny 2. We have more games for you next week, which we will be talking about. However, it's not the end of the show. Couple of things. Firstly, big announcement from me. I announced back in last October that I would be doing multi-platform games. I always used to just play Xbox games. I announced on my 1-year anniversary stream I was doing PlayStation games. I brought PlayStation games to you from November. I've started playing PC games. As of next week, as promised, I will be playing Nintendo Switch games. I have a number of sponsorships lined up with brand new games that are just about to come out. And there are 2 games coming out on Nintendo Switch, which I'll be playing live in the next couple of weeks. The first one being Monday next week. Look out for announcements. Second thing, 100 games before you die. Let's do this. Now, those who don't know what we've been doing, we've got a chart of 100 games you should play before you die. The first 2 games, the agreement is if we and the chat, and the majority of the chat, and us 3, the majority of the people here have played it, it gets scratched off the list as, yes, we played it. If most of us haven't, then it doesn't get scratched off. We have had Tetris and Angry Birds as successful. Here's the trailer for the next game in the 100 games that you must die. Have you played it? Let us know. Are we going to scratch off the panel on this thing? Let's check this out. Here we go, people.
This game has not yet been rated.
Move. Heads up!
Сегодня одной нации мы восприняли впереди в том предательство и оккупацию. Дома. Пришло время показать, на что мы способны.
Ready up.
Всякая война вранье.
Call of Duty 4 Modern Warfare is our third game in 100 games to play before you die. Now, a couple of people. Josh has said, yes, played it. Big Jesse, pretty sure I haven't played this. Johnny Dodger is, get it scratched off. Tis a classic. I have never played this. It's a no from me. Dave.
Yeah, played it, completed the campaign. It was good.
Okay. Zenkai?
Mine's kind of a mixed bag because I only played the re-release of it when it came out with Infinite Warfare. That's the only version I've played of that game.
That probably counts though, because it's technically the same game, doesn't it?
Yeah, technically. Yeah. So yeah, I've only played the multiplayer of it with the prop ones. So I guess yeah.
Okay, so 2 out of the 3 in here have played it. Does playing it at a mate's for about an hour count? Yes, it does. As long as you picked up the controller and played it, you can say. Josh has said yes. How many other people in chat have played this? Because at the moment it's a bit 50-50. So let us know. Let us know. We'll do a reveal. What we are going to do before we end the show, it was Nintendo Direct's latest conference. It was a 40-minute conference where they announced a ton of new Nintendo Switch games coming out. We are going to blast through in the next 6 minutes. Johnny's saying it's a yes. We're going to blast through in the next 6 minutes. Tell us if you played this while it's playing. Next 6 minutes. Here are all the new games coming out for Nintendo on Nintendo Switch. Check a look at this. Here we go. We're going to blast through this lot. Here we go.
Hello, everyone. I'm Shinya Takahashi, and I'll be your guide for today's Nintendo Direct. Let's see the first batch of Nintendo Switch headlines.
There you go, folks. That's a whole rundown of the 40-minute conference condensed into 6 minutes for you. Some interesting new games coming out for Nintendo Switch late in the year, and some big remasters, like they're getting Assassin's Creed, you're getting No Man's Sky, plus some big releases that we're expecting, like 2 Point Campus, numerous other things. Dave, any standout games there for you that you're interested in?
Yeah, a couple that catch my interest. I quite like the look of that Kirby and Forgotten Land. That looks like a good 3D platformer. And I like the all the extra courses they're bringing out for Mario Kart 8. We've got like 48 courses coming out over like the next year, doing it in like little batches of, I think, 6 at a time, something like that. And considering it's 48 courses, it's only about 20-ish quid, I think. Doesn't seem like too bad value to me. That's pretty good. So those I'm looking forward to.
Okay. Zenkai, any of those would be of interest? I know you're not a Switch player, but
Nintendo Switch Resort looks good. I liked Wii Sports Resort, and I like both Wii Sports games. I enjoyed them. The new Star Wars, the Force Unleashed remaster. I got that on. I played that on the Wii, and I played that on my Steam. What else was there? There was also Cuphead, the new DLC for that.
DLC, yeah, looks good.
Also, what else was that? I can't remember now. Shit. Yeah, most of those 3 games were pretty amazing. I can't wait.
It looks good. There's a good lineup, but there you go. We should do more of those like that. We go, right, okay, PlayStation has done a thing. Let's condense it down 6 months. 6 months. No, let's not condense it 6 months. 6 months. Fucking hell. But yeah, it seems so much better when we do it like that. There's a ton of games. That's how you do it. All right, lads. Got to try and catch more of these streams. Got to head off now. No, thank you, Capcom. We are wrapping up now anyway. Thank you so much to everyone. That has been another TNGC for a week. Thank you to our standing guest, Zenkaipool.
Yeah.
If I could do an air horn, I would. Actually, I might be able to do an air horn. No, I can't. Never mind.
Fair enough.
Do that. There you go. That'll be it. Thank you to a couple of people. Shadow Dragon for the raid. Miyaharu for the subs. Circus Digi for the subs. DJ Fail for the raid and follow. Thank you so much. Everyone in chat. As we said, we'll be back with the movie show 2 weeks. 2 weeks on Wednesday is when we're back, which is the 2nd of March. We are back again next week with another TNGC. Our guest next week will be Lulu Lala. Lulu Lala is our guest on TNGC, talking about all the latest games and game-relating news. Let's do a raid. Let's see who we can raid this evening, and then we'll finish off the show. And what I will do is I always do, I get the guest to choose a game, and then we raid. So we have got, let's have a look. We have got, oh God, it jumped. We have got Dead by Daylight. We have got Days Gone. We have got Lost Ark, which we were talking about earlier. We have got Fortnite. We have got Skull, the Hero Slayer. And we have got Destiny 2. What would you like to pick from that, Zenkai?
I can't. That's a lot of games there. Holy shit.
That was me condensing this down as well. There's way more than that.
Okay. I choose the 5th one.
Which was the last one, which is Destiny 2. So we are going for Destiny 2, which is going to be Digital Debuff, is who we are going to raid. So let's do that. There we are. He's got 3 people watching. Let's go raid. Go give him some love. We've raided him before, ages ago. Plays a lot of CFEs, plays a lot of Destiny 2. Let's do that. I'll make that happen. That will start with the end credits roll. Thank you so much to everyone in chat. Thank you to my mods. Thank you to the angels who run the Discord. And special thank you to, obviously, Dave, my co-host, as always, for being here. That raid is
always a pleasure, mate.
There you go. And we'll be back. We are back tomorrow at 4 p.m. I have my first bonus stream of the week. I am playing a game I have never fucking heard of, which is called AI. I have no idea what it is. I'm not going to lie. I'm totally going blind into this one. The game is called AI. There's some Somnium Files. I have no fucking idea. I'm playing that at 4 o'clock. And then 9 o'clock tomorrow night, I'm playing Sea of Thieves with Sophie, Tiniest Pie, and Sharwee TV, my three angels from my Discord. We are finally doing me and the angels sailing the seas and probably sinking a lot. It should be fun. Join us at 4 p.m. and 9 p.m. That's it for me, folks. We're going to start that raid. As I always say, wherever you are in the world, have a great morning, great afternoon, great evening. And I shall see all of you either at 4 or 9 at both tomorrow. For me and the lads, take care. Good night.
Bye, people. Peace.